We are live. Jamil Park from YSM Sports Media here with a special guest, my man A.K.O.Y.E.
What up, Brody? How you?
What's good with you?
I mean, I'm
You
good
the
today.
foot-
I wasn't going on yesterday, but I'm good today. I feel good. How you?
you the football guy, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You known as the football guy, but you really the boxing guy. But
Yeah, I'm like the two-sport athlete when it comes to that. I got my boxing game. I only do boxing shit when I'm on your channel though. I don't bang with boxing.
right? And people don't even
They don't
realize
watch it
that.
when I do it on my channel. They act like what the fuck you know about boxing? They ask me that type of shit. I'm like, yo, I'm not just a football guy, man. I know both.
People don't even realize that you a real life boxing dude. But I'll
Yeah,
let them find out.
that's my fault. I don't really self promote. I'm like I try to keep it humble, but I don't self promote. I don't say nothing. So people be seeing, even when they see me at fights or see me throwing a fight, they be like, "Fuck you doing here?" I like this my shit, man. I just don't say nothing. I'm a low key ball.
All right, so we're gonna let a couple more people like hop in here before I let you cook. I
Yep.
am currently watching Monday Night Raw. Will be in the building. SmackDown will be in Wells Fargo.
Oh word.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I gotta catch up with some wrestling shit. I don't watch this shit no more, man. I used to think I was a fucking wrestler when I was a kid, though. I was running around do crazy
We
shit,
all
but
did.
yeah, I just stopped that shit when I was like probably like 17, something like that. I just start, you know what I mean? I had to start having kids. That's why I start having kids and shit. Like this nigga had to go to work. Like fuck this shit. Fuck wrestling.
All right. So I've heard a bunch of mixed opinions.
Mm,
Olmec, what's good with you? Heard a bunch of mixed opinions.
mm,
Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach ended in a very controversial draw. You
mm,
got people saying that Roach got robbed. You got people saying that Tank won it. You got people saying a draw
mm.
was necessary and deserving.
Yeah.
What say you?
I mean, I'm one of them people where it's like depending on what your feelings were prior to the fight or how you came into it, I can't really argue with somebody who say he got robbed if you look at the knockdown in the scorecard, right? If you say, oh, he robbed is like a stretch, but if you just say, look, he should have won due to the fact that that could have been or should have been, in my opinion, should have been called a knockdown, then okay, I can live with that argument. I don't think the knockdown was a legitimate knockdown just for the fact that he probably didn't do the right thing. You take a knee, it's a knockdown, right? But
Mm.
I don't think he fell because he was truly hurt by a punch. I think he really did have something wrong with his eyelash, but it came from a punch though. But he couldn't see, so he ran to the corner, got his eye wiped out. Now, is it corny? Should he have done it? No, but do I think that he should lose because of that one fact? No, I don't. Did I think it was a great fight on Lamont Roach's part? Did he surprise me? Do I think that he earned a lot of capital as far as the way he looked in that fight? Oh yeah, for sure. I thought he was gonna get knocked out. So for him to go out there and fight the way he did, has to go off to him. But in the early rounds, I think Tank did well in the first 7 rounds. I think that Lamont Roach kind of finished a lot stronger than what people thought he would, and he dealt with Gervonta's power, a lot better, and he actually gave better than he got, But a draw, I can see that happening due to the fact that I think that in the beginning of the fight, those rounds were very close. It's not like he was just dominating Gervonta in the early rounds. He wasn't, and in the later rounds, he was just giving as good as he got. Whenever Gervonta would engage, he would come right back with something. And I love his strategy. So for me, as a coach and as a guy that just loves boxing, I love what Lamont Roach did. And because I think sometimes we get this, we get kind of like confirmation bias, or we kind of look at things a certain way due to the fact that a person might do better than expected, like the Sixers
Mm.
versus the Lakers back in the day, right? They do better than you expected, so you look at them as if they won because from a moral standpoint he did win. You know what I mean? We didn't think he was going to do any of that. You know what I mean? He fought Tank better than anyone ever fought him. Nobody out there, even Lamont Roach's fans, would have never thought that he would have done that well, in my opinion, right? So from that standpoint, he definitely got a moral victory out of it, but I didn't see a domination where it said, okay, robbery. I didn't see robbery. I just saw two guys who knew each other, who were familiar with each other, and a guy who wasn't scared of the boogeyman go out there and go toe to toe and really box it out. But beyond that, the subtlety of it, which from the beginning you saw Roach's strategy was, I'm gonna stalk you, but I'm not gonna engage. He didn't want to lead because he knew if I lead, Tank's gonna counter, and Tank's doing the same thing. Tank's fighting off the back foot, but he doesn't want to lead. He doesn't want to start off, right? Neither one of them wanted to start because, as you saw, whenever Lamont started the exchanges, Tank would, catch him with shots and do what he needed to do. Whenever Tank would start an exchange, Lamont would come back with something. So they both know each other well enough to understand, like, I know what's coming back at me as soon as I engage, and neither one of them wanted to engage. And when you watch Tank's fights, what he generally has been doing, and I think Lamont just did a good job of just film study, because when you watch what Tank has been doing in his last couple fights, whether it was Frank Martin, Ryan, he lets guys, he'll let you attack him, and it looks like you're winning the first 4 rounds, sort of like what you saw with Floyd back in the day. But it looks like you winning the first 4 rounds because he's letting you attack him because he wants you tired in the later rounds. Lamont Roach did a great job. I'm staying in front of you, but I'm not wasting any gas because I'm not going to punch unless you punch. I'm staying right here on you though the whole time. So it was a lot of mental pressure rather than actual physical. I'm actually swinging for the fences. He wasn't swinging for the fences from the beginning, and so he had that energy in the later rounds, and he wasn't worn down, nor was he getting countered in between shots because he was picking his shots wildly. So I mean, has to go off to him. I think, can he beat a Tank after seeing that fight? If they fought again, I think he can win. You know what I mean? But I think Tank will make some adjustments. But to say he got robbed, I'm not one that says he got robbed. I looked at the draw as if, that was accurate in my opinion. I think both of them gave as good as they got. But if you look at the knockdown and you want to hinge on the knockdown and hinge on the cringy excuses that he gave for the knockdown, okay, I can't argue with you on that. I'm not going to die on that hill, but I don't think he was robbed. I do agree with the draw. I agree with the draw. I don't think Tank won the fight. I can tell you that. I agree with the draw.
Gervonta Davis lost that fight.
I mean, see what I'm saying?
And I say that because I'm seeing a lot of overreactions from people. Because the people that don't like Tank is like, Tank's a bum, it's a hype job. I told you.
Hell no.
Tank's a great fighter.
Tank's a great fight. That was a great
Tank's a Hall of Famer, right? And do I think that Tank made some major mistakes in that? Yeah. And I think a lot has to do with, you've been winning a long time. And I'm not even just talking about winning in the boxing ring. I'm talking about winning in life.
Right.
Winning in life.
Oh, you like Bane? He said victory has defeated you.
Victory has defeated you.
Facts.
I look at that with Tank. Like, all right, so Tank's fans, in Tank's fans' minds, he's the grimy dude from Baltimore. He represents the trenches. You know what I'm saying? Devin, them, Shakur, they soft. Tank a real one. Yo, this doesn't. Tank has been wealthy.
Right. For a
while.
Not
rich. Tank has been wealthy for the minimum 5 years. Tank's been rich for about the other 3. Okay?
Right.
So that trenches shit, that he might dress like a dude from, he don't even do that. You see the tats and you see the braids and look like a dude from the trenches. But nothing about him is from the trenches anymore. Right? Dude,
so wears he lost his edge. That's what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is he wears purses. He wears fingernail polish. Tank operates in the space of like a rapper.
Right.
No, he looks like when you look at him, he looks like a rapper. He acts like a rapper. He's like, and he would be the equivalent of a rapper that's been platinum a bunch of fucking times. He is detached.
He's Drake.
He's detached from. No, I can't even call him Drake.
Oh,
Tank is like Jay-Z right when he's about to be like the president of Def Jam. He's detached from that.
Right.
And you lose some of that killer because shit's going good. Tank's a dad, right? His kids is probably going to the best if they're not in like daycare.
Right.
The kid's going into the best schools, right? He's living in Florida. He's not in Baltimore no more. So the weather is fucking nice.
Right.
He got a bad chick. He's eating whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Life is good. When
True.
life is good for fighters, it puts
Mm,
them in a state of comfort. Fighters
true.
as a whole cannot be in a state of comfort because they lose something. And what I saw was a great but unfocused
Mm,
fighter.
mm,
And he isn't focused because he beat the guy in the amateurs. He knew the bull wasn't sweet,
mm.
but he's been getting fat while people starved. And
Right.
so this was a wake up call, and this was a much needed wake up call. Now, would it surprise me if they do a rematch and Tom Tank comes back and sparks his fucking ass? It wouldn't surprise me. But if he doesn't, if he still rests on his laurels, then you are seeing the beginning of the end because the fight either gets paid out of you or
Hmm.
it gets beaten out of you.
Okay.
With
I mean,
Tank,
you make an interesting point. I get your point, right?
with
But
Tank, I think it might be paid out of him. Go ahead.
you might have a point, and the only reason I give you that point is because he's been talking retirement. And Parcells, Bill
Yes,
Parcells used to say,
yes.
once you mention retirement, you've already retired, right, in the mind. So you might be right when it comes to that, but I don't take anything away from what Roach did. I think that argument, the only reason I'm hesitant to go down that road with you, is because that argument kind of
No,
spits on what Lamont Roach had to
I'm
do
sorry.
to
I'm
win that
sorry.
fight.
I didn't. We were talking about Tank. I didn't
Right.
even get to Rooch. Okay,
Okay.
but that
Go
was
ahead.
one of the things that I noticed in regards to Tank. Tank didn't know what round it was. He was shocked that it was the 12th round.
I
So
mean,
it's
that's because
like,
he's zoned in. That
yeah.
that means he tuned
So
in. You know what I mean?
no. Tuned in is you are aware of every bit. Like
Mm.
Tank
I mean,
was Tank
Floyd Mayweather
Tank was
asked, "What round is it?" You know what I mean? Guys ask what
no.
round
He looked up when he was like, it's the 12th. Like in the fight, like
because he in the
the
mix. He mixed
yeah,
it,
he was
and he
like,
getting the shit knocked out.
it's
He
the
probably don't even
12th.
remember where he at. You know what I'm saying?
But
He was getting the shit
anyway,
knocked out
right?
of him sometimes. You know what I
Anyway,
mean? So
what
good.
I saw from Lamont Roach is a dude who's underestimated, a dude that knew exactly what he was dealing with. He the bully to you. He the boogeyman to you. I knew the nigga when he was just a dirty dude from Baltimore.
Right.
He ain't none of that to me,
Yeah, he wasn't
right?
scared. That's like the Mike Tyson effect. Like it's
Yeah,
different when you're not afraid of the boogeyman. You get what I'm saying?
it's
And everybody can't do what Roach did in that fight, bro. Like
no.
so. But you can say it's the beginning and the end. But even if you say that's the blueprint for beating them, the blueprint is you have to be able to stand toe to toe with Tank and get the better
Wait,
of exchanges. You know what I'm saying?
wait.
Can you
So
do it? Who can
was
do
I
it?
surprised? Was I surprised that he got the better of the exchanges? That was the more shocking thing. The most
Right.
shocking thing is in the exchanges, the biggest puncher that we have seen since maybe a
Been hurt.
Roberto Duran
Hmm.
was the one that had to get out of the fire in the exchanges. He was the one that got caught with shit and he realized I got to get the fuck out of here.
Because Lamont Roach kept making him lead. So he was taking the steam off of those punches because you already know when I'm waiting for you to hit me, it doesn't matter. A truly defensive fighter, like a guy who really doesn't throw a lot of punches at all, is hard to beat usually, right? Because they know those punches are coming and not fighting, right? Lamont Roach was fighting a style that made Tank lead. And in the middle of those shots, he was picking them off and catching Tank with the better of it because he's waiting for Tank to lead and then intercepting his shots in the middle of his exchanges. So he was hitting Tank with some clean shit because of that. But in order to do that though, he was getting cracked, right?
Yes.
And he looked bigger than Tank too, but he was getting cracked. So I'm saying he did well because he knows Tank very well. He knew what he needed to do to prepare for it, and he's felt the sting of Tank a couple times in the ring. So that does count for something, right? But the reason I don't give it that much credence is because what he did, most fighters won't do and can't do. You know what I'm saying? So I give Lamont his credit for the way he fought Tank, but I don't think that it's the beginning of the end due to the fact that I don't think that's a strategy that everyone can repeat. You know, you got to be a
No.
certain type of fighter to
But
repeat that
I,
style.
I feel like there's a culmination of things. The reason why, like I said, it's either going to be the best thing that ever happened in Tank because it
Hmm.
refocuses him,
Hmm.
it refocuses him, or it is the beginning of the end. And the beginning of the end started with the retirement talk.
Right.
You and
Now
I
you're
both
right, buddy.
know.
Hmm.
You and I both know when Marvin Hagler told us this when we were kids. It's hard getting up and doing road work when you're waking up in silk pajamas. You talking about a dude?
That's why I used
You
to go to
talking
prison. He'd be like, he had to go to the dungeon to train.
real. Thomas Hill, what up? Old Mac, what up? Sean Terrence, what up? Yo, so he 20 million, 30 million, like a
Right.
fight, like, bro, that does something to you. Like,
Right.
especially if your goal was to get paid. If your goal was to be the best, like Floyd talks that, like Floyd's a fucking liar. Oh, it's about the money. It's about the money. Floyd wanted to be the greatest fighter to ever lived.
Yeah.
Talking about the money is a persona. He wanted to
Right.
be the greatest fighter. And
Right.
so if your goal was to get yourself out of the circumstance that you were in,
Mm.
right? You grew up in poverty and West Baltimore is the fucking slums. If that was your goal, he accomplished his goal. And you tend to relax a little bit. So
Okay.
I believe it was a culmination of Tank being distracted
Right.
and a culmination of number one, Lamont Roach is better than what other people thought. If you look at every interview that I said that this was going to be a very competitive fight and that I liked the fight and that the familiarity
Mm.
would be a factor.
Mm. Yeah, that was a major factor. But the one thing that I don't hear anybody talk about, maybe is out of respect for Barry Hunter, is, people don't look at cause and effect, right? To me, if I see you consistently murdering people with a certain mentality, because you already know how Hawk is, right? Every time I've sent Hawk to go train with somebody else, now they might be more seasoned trainers. They've been training longer than me, have more experience. And when I'm doing promotions or marketing or doing my other businesses, I can't train them the way I want to. So I send them to people I respect. And they have fighters that have done more than he has, but they can't get the spark out of them for some reason, right? They just can't get it out of them. I don't know why, right? Some guys are like that. So if I look at a consistent trend, Tank's been killing everybody. He's been killing everybody with Calvin. See what I'm saying? This is the first fight I've seen him without his trainer, and he looked different. So we don't give
Second
that.
fight,
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the fight
you
with him.
did, you
Who?
did.
Who? When?
Didn't for Isaac Cruz? Didn't Barry train him?
I don't remember. See, I don't remember that.
Fellas, in the comments, for Isaac Cruz, didn't Barry train Tank?
Okay, so
Let
maybe
me
he
know.
did.
Go ahead.
But even with Isaac Cruz, that was another fight where people was like, "Damn, he took it to him then too." He took Isaac Cruz, Pitbull took it to him too. They was rumbling. It was like not a similar fight, but they went toe to toe. You know what I mean? I think Tank boxed a hell of a fight in that fight. So he showed his boxing skills and boxing IQ in the Pitbull Cruz fight. But Pitbull was given some work. And I give that some credit. I think that having a certain mentality, having your coach with you the full time. I don't know what's really going on with them in the corner, why he wasn't the head trainer in the corner or whatever, but there was a difference in the corner. So you have to give that some credit. You know what I mean? And nobody's talking about the fact that, they just say, hey, Tank's a bum all of a sudden, but they don't talk about the fact that he ain't got his trainer with him. You know what I mean? He ain't have his trainer, not as his head trainer and not for some of his camp. He didn't have Calvin. So I think that speaks to something. I think mentality definitely matters, right? And your guy, better than anybody else can. Like you might do better mid work, you might have more experience, but I might know I gotta talk about your mom in the corner, or I gotta say something crazy to you to get you, ready. You know what I mean? And when I'm not that lead voice, it changes. I was doing commentary for Hakeem's loss in last year in Harris, right? I couldn't train him because I had a commentary gig and I was sitting sideline with Steve Cunningham and them, but I watched him lose, right? And I'm thinking because Reg trains Ford, what's his name, Raymond Ford. So I'm like, I already know Reg I trust Reg as a trainer. That's my guy, right? But Reg don't know Hawk. You don't know what to say to Hawk to get him to act up. You get what I'm saying? So that matters. That definitely matters, bro. Even a better trainer. So it's not a knock on a trainer. It's just like DNA is DNA, man. Certain people have a certain chemistry with certain people for a reason. You know what I mean? Tyson without a customato might have not fought like Tyson. You know what I'm saying? So or Kevin Rooney, different guy. That's a Kevin Rooney Tyson, custom model Tyson, that guy is different than Tyson down the line. He's a totally different guy,
Yeah.
totally different animal. You know what I mean? So that matters.
I agree with you, but there's another factor that I don't think people are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Tank's style has been flirting with disaster. You give up a lot of early rounds,
That's true.
right?
That's true because he relies on that power.
He relies on the power. He relies on being a sharpshooter. He's like if you ever watched The Jackal, I equate Tank to the Jackal because he's looking for that shot that puts you down, and he's waiting for you to make mistakes, and then he capitalizes on it. The problem is he's very patient in waiting for those mistakes. But what happens if you don't make any? What happens if you can take
then you
the
put
shot?
you back yourself into a corner at that point. Yeah.
When you can take the shot when it comes. That's why I've always been interested in seeing the fights with Devin, the fights with Shakur, the fights with all these guys.
But he only went the distance twice in the last. I mean, he only went the distance twice.
No,
both of them
what
was
I'm
Barry
saying
Hunter.
is,
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And what I'm saying is, but when you fight that style and rely on that punch, just like with Wilder.
Yeah.
Wilder and Tank are very similar. I ain't talking about skill set. I'm talking about
don't do that to him.
With the way they operate.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That one shot is coming. That one shot is coming. That one shot is coming. That one shot is coming.
This was the first fight, honestly, in a while. He didn't really do that. Like I thought Tank did well in the earlier rounds than he did in the later rounds. So he didn't really do that this fight. Like this fight, because Roach forced him to lead, Tank was winning those rounds. If you look at Tank as the favorite or the champ, right? He was winning those closer rounds in the first half of the fight. I had Tank by 7. I had it 5-2. You know what I mean? Tank. You know what I mean? So I do think Roach won the fight. I think he either slightly won, but I look at it like he's the champ. You got to take it from him. And I feel like Tank, even though you stepped on his tail, he still emerged as a dragon in the end. He still went toe to toe with him at the end. So I look at it like, if you going into the enemy territory and you fighting Tank and you want to dethrone him, I think Roach did enough. If it was a unification match or if it was, like a vacancy title, neither one of them was champions, he probably would have won that fight. Neither one of them have a brand or a name, he wins this fight. But to go dethrone the brand, to dethrone De La Hoya, you know what I'm saying? You gotta kill the motherfucker. And he didn't. He fought him tooth and nail, but you gotta come out with blood, bro. You gotta have a head on the spike, and he didn't.
When Tank goes to turn up, when he goes to start fucking winging that
Roach
shit,
calmed his ass right back down. Yeah,
bro, he countered him effectively, and he threw short shit above. Like Tank winds up, like when he really, he'll do this like little bend down thing, and then all of a sudden,
Roach was hitting the top of the head when he was doing that.
Yeah, and Roach
he ain't letting him get off.
Yeah, so it was a situation where he's going to have to change just going forward, because I'm gonna say this respectfully: styles make fights.
Oh yeah,
and black fighters' kryptonite has always been black fighters.
I can't argue with that.
Historic,
Russian,
right?
Or Cuban. yeah.
No, you talking about the amateurs. I'm talking about in the professionals, right? Black fighters put black fighters in. It's like
Tarver, Roy Jones.
With a Shakur Stevenson, right?
Oliver McCall, Lennox Lewis. Yeah.
Shakur is able to turn certain fighters, right?
Yeah.
Fighters with a certain level of speed force Shakur to fight in pockets where he's not used to fighting. And you see how he operates with Edwin De Los Santos is one of those fighters. So I say that to say this. I think this could be the best thing that ever happened to him, because now Tank could look to win rounds, understanding that everybody's not going to fall.
Well, it's going to be hard for him to do that, right? Tank's a short fighter. So to have his style, to me, he needs to, probably turn it up a little bit, maybe, focus a little bit more in training camp. Yeah. but I wouldn't do a Deontay Wilder on this. I think that Wilder screwed himself by trying to change his stripes. You know what I mean? I think Wilder, with Mark Breland, was it perfect? No. But he knew what he came with. He danced with the chick that brung him, which was that right hand. He wasn't trying to be a boxer. He was a seek and destroy animal. He just needed to learn how to deliver his poison, if you will, a little bit better. But when Malik Scott got him and started trying to teach him how to box, he's thinking instead of acting. You know what I mean? And that's why he started getting fucked up after that, right? So I look at Tank the same way. Tank's a short guy, a short fighter that tries to win on points. The only way you're doing that is if you're a busy fighter. And for Tank to lead and be busy, he opens himself up to the same shit he just did against Lamont Roach, which is, getting caught in between those exchanges. I like how Tank stalks his prey. I like the fact that he absorbs your punishment or absorbs your shots and makes you waste your punches with great defense while standing. It's hard to stalk a guy, pressure a guy, and take the sting off their punches and not get damaged while doing it. You know what I mean? And then tire him out. That's a hard style. Floyd did something similar, but he did it off the back foot. He will shoulder roll and let you waste your shots. You know what I mean? Tank does it coming forward. That's hard to do. Maybe it's partially because he's southpaw and he's short. That make it, you punching down at him and he's southpaw. So it's probably a little easier for him than it is for any other fighter that's 5'5", that's conventional. But I don't think he should change his stripes. You know what I mean? I think, yes, he should focus, but I don't think he should do too much trying to win rounds, because in order to do that, he got to open himself up. And if he opens himself up, you never know. So I wouldn't jump out there and start being, high octane offense at this
I'm
point.
not saying be Wilder, right? And completely change your stripes. What I'm saying is Tank is a boxer with a lot of skill.
Right.
Maybe he should focus on breaking a guy down instead of looking for the one shot. Because if you don't find the one shot, and now you put yourselves in position. One thing that you said, Tank alluded to during the fight. Tank said, "You're not going to win to Lamont Roach. They're not going to give it to you."
Oh, yeah.
Because he understands the business of boxing. He understands that I'm the ticket seller. And what did you say? If it had been a unification, if it had been two fighters where brands wasn't big enough,
right?
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If that had been, and we were about to address the knockdown, if that had been Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia,
Tank
that
loses.
would have been a knockdown, and Tank would have lost that fight.
Yeah, because they wouldn't care who wins that fight. They didn't want to. You don't want Lamont Roach carrying the flag for the lightweight division. That messes up so many. And for all the fight fans, that's true fight fans out there, yeah, you can feel a way about it. But if you're just keeping it a buck, I'm not. This is not my. It's my opinion on the business, but it's not my opinion on Roach. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm coming from a business standpoint, do I want Lamont Roach to carry the crown in the lightweight division off of that type of fight? No, because I think a loss for him or a draw for him actually works in his favor, because he's the people's champ right now. Everybody's on Roach, like he gonna get his money, he gonna get his fanfare. But him winning this fight, for all the boxing fans out there, messes up all the other fights that you want to see, at least for the in the near future. You know what I'm saying? It would have shuffled things up in a way that kind of messes the landscape up with the Shakur versus a Tank or the Haney versus a Tank, and all those fights get shelved. And now Roach, they try to figure out how they're going to market or position Roach or put Roach up against a guy that that can beat him. That's what they want, because they will want the belts back. They will want to take that back from him. And this is true because you watched Danny Garcia made a career off of it. You know what I mean? They put him up against Amir Khan. They didn't want Danny Garcia to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? They put him up against Eric Morales. They're like, we don't want him to win this fight. But he kept doing it. You know what I mean? He kept winning the fights that he wasn't supposed to win. And good for him. He had a great career, probably made more money than some of the guys that, are supposed to be those blue chip guys, because of his ability to go in and be the underdog and still pull it out. Bernard Hopkins made a whole career out of that. But, they had Trinidad name on the trophy when Bernard won that fight. They didn't want him to win that fight. But when I say you got to go out there and put his head on the stake, what Bernard did to Trinidad, now if he loses that kind of fight, that's a robbery. Like, that would have been a robbery. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out there and fuck him up. Trinidad wasn't returning fire the way Tank was returning fire on Roach. That's why I say Tank knew what he needed to do. Just like you watch Sugar Ray Leonard, they became famous for this, the 30-second spinoffs at the runoffs at the end of rounds to make sure they steal those rounds or make it look close enough where the judges can still rule in their favor. De La Hoya was great at that. When you watch De La Hoya versus Pernell Whitaker, he didn't win that fight, but also Whitaker didn't go out there and put his head on the stake either. So De La Hoya was able to keep that fight close enough where he can give the judges an excuse to give it to him. And that's really what happened if we keep it in a buck. You know what I mean? Do you like it? No, but if you've been watching boxing, for as long as I have, as long as most of you have, you already know this is the game. Let's not lie about that. This is the game. That's the way the game go, and that's the way it's been going. Especially on PBC, you get the PBC draws, man. When you watch Kyron Davis versus Anthony Durrell, that's a draw. That wasn't a draw, but he kept it close enough where you can still give him the draw. But Kyron still got the fanfare from it and got better fights because of it. That's what Roach gonna do. He gonna get better fights because of that, because of what he put on tape. But he ain't supposed to win those type of fights. You're not gonna win that fight. You gotta knock him the fuck out.
We understand the business, right?
Right.
You and I, we both understand the business, but that's one of the reasons why boxing isn't where it should be.
Oh, now I agree with that. I'm arguing with that.
One of the reasons, there's a reason why that's the reason why boxing is in this sport, because it doesn't allow for the Cinderella story. It doesn't allow for the movie fairy tale ending.
Oh, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, wait. I'll let you cook. Let me explain how it doesn't. Okay, so the most bet on sport in a specific space is what? It's not the Super Bowl. It's March Madness. Right. People watch March Madness because of the unpredictability of it. Right. Because the Cinderella team could do some special shit. One of the most successful movie franchises of all time is Rocky. Why is Rocky? Because it's an underdog white guy that turns the odds on the casino.
Right.
Because boxing has that, can you carry the torch? If not, we're not going to give you this fucking victory. It limits it and gives it a ceiling. I understand the logic behind it, and the logic means if you can't put asses in the seats, we're going to ride with the guy that makes rich people richer. Because that's what Gervonta Davis is.
Yeah,
Gervonta Davis makes rich people rich.
That's
more rich, however you want to describe it.
That's a fact. But I mean, I just feel like the conversation. We just talked about Danny Garcia, but Bernard Hopkins. You know what I mean? You got Chuck Bayonne that Baki was supposed to be about. Go ahead.
But Danny also, even though Danny wasn't a blue chipper, he was a multinational champion. He lost in the trials, but he was also something that eventually, if you wanted to, you could cultivate. You could put money behind. Puerto Rican, good looking, from Philadelphia.
I mean, I think his father had the spark that made Danny marketable. You know what I mean? But I agree. He was marketable
heard him is he didn't speak Spanish. That killed him.
Probably, yeah. But he was marketable enough. You know what I mean? He was marketable enough. But I think the Cinderella story is definitely in boxing. But I do agree that boxing is suffering. But I don't think it's suffering just because of the way it's judged. Right? I think people come in knowing that this is going to happen that way, and it's been like that even at its height. When Roy Jones lost in the Olympics, that was like one of the most controversial decisions ever. You know what I'm saying?
I call bullshit. Yo, if you watching boxing with your casual friends and casual family.
I'm making a point though. I get where you're going with that.
Wait.
Go ahead.
You should. One of the reasons why boxing is suffering is you have to explain to your friends and your family why this person won that fight, and that's not what the fuck you saw.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. But what the reason that boxing I think suffers is because it's the only martial art, the only one that I can think of where people fight it professionally, but they don't live it. You know what I mean? They don't live it as if it's a true way of life anymore. They used to, but not anymore. Now in between fights, guys are out of shape. Guys, in their career, they don't even look like they ever was an athlete. Shit like that. Like boxing, they dedicate themselves to prize fighting or to the sport of boxing, not to the martial art. Right. If you have people who are like a Marvin Hagler, like a Bernard Hopkins, like a Andre Ward, you know what I mean, Floyd Mayweather, those guys are boxing martial artists or pugilists that really, hone in on the sport and what it's supposed to be. And you don't have everybody doing that. So I think that's more so why it's suffering, because you can separate the real from the fake when people start dedicating themselves to the sport. Because right now people just relying on their athleticism, they're relying on their reflexes and their natural God-given ability. And it's a reason why the Russians, the Cubans, the Argentinians, they coming in and they kind of edging these guys out now, because they might not have the same athleticism, but they got the grit and the dedication that most of these guys in America don't have anymore right now. You shouldn't see so many, and I'm not saying it like we're elitist, but we are definitely different now than we used to be. It's like it used to be like, yo, you couldn't fuck with the hunger and athleticism combination that we used to have here. And now that's kind of like few and further between. I think that's more so what the problem is. Rather, you got guys thinking they rappers in between fights. You know what I mean? Broner used to think he was a rapper. You know what I mean? But he was at the top of the sport. And the problem is it's required for him to do that, to build the brand up so that he can even be marketable in the first place, rather than, him leaning on, his abilities and honing his skills. Like, guys aren't doing that. You could talk about Roy Jones being a showboaty, flashy guy back in the day, but Roy Jones was dedicated to the game to a level where he can do things that you just can't do. Floyd could do things that you just can't do. Ali could do things because they were martial artists. You know what I mean? Boxing is a martial art, and I think people forget that. It's not a sport, it's a martial art, and everybody don't practice it that way. You know what I mean? You should still have hands in your 40s and 50s, just like Chuck Norris still kick your ass because he kickbox. You know what I'm saying? They dedicate themselves to their martial art. We don't. That's the problem with boxing. Then you got a lot of trainers who are because we so cloak and dagger with the way we want to train our fighters, and I do it too. You got more knowledge of boxing in the grave than you do above ground today. You know what I mean? Because people taking their secrets to the grave with them. So like boxing suffering because of that. And when the mob got in the game back in the day, they started chasing a lot of the real trainers out, because once you train a guy up and he's able to fight, like even Tank, you could take Tank or Tyson, any of those guys. Once they can
Now
fight,
you want him to get. Now you want him to go to somebody you can control.
yeah, I could control this guy. He already
Hard to
know how to
control
fight. You
Ray
just got to keep
Arthur.
him in shape. He know how to fight. Keep him in shape. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you lost a lot of the real knowledge due to that. And I see it now. Like I could sit and watch guys, and like I said, I'll be talking to you, or I'll talk to Bread. Me and Bread will talk for hours, right? About just how to fight a southpaw. We sit and talk about it, right? And the way we'll go about it is like, all right, most people ain't even discussing it from this angle because they don't know. You know what I mean? They go with whatever the common philosophies are on certain styles or certain strategies, right? And even certain way, certain drills, everything. Whether you're talking about mitt work, I know guys now who are professional boxers who can't hit a speed bag, and that's not disrespecting nobody. It's true. They don't know how to hit a speed bag. They don't know how to, they don't go out and spar with strategic sparring. Meaning, I see that you can't stop a jab, or if you're Errol Spence, you can't really stop a right hand, right? That
Mm.
shouldn't happen for more than one fight if you're watching your fighter and you're a trainer, because you should be taking him and saying, okay, we're going to specifically work on just this one thing because this is your Achilles heel. This is what we're going to work on. You'll see the guy with the same problem every time he comes out, same propensity every time he comes out. Now, habits are hard to break, but when you know your guy has one particular issue, you should be working on that. And I don't see that a lot. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem with boxing. I don't think it's approached from a martial arts standpoint, not from a purist standpoint, man. And that's that always egg me the fuck out. I love when I see one that does though. Like shout out to Bozy. Bozy, one of those guys that I think gonna bring the best out you. Shout out to Hackett. Hackett got a lot of fucking knowledge. I mean, a lot of the Philly trainers definitely got knowledge, and I'm not being biased when I say it. It's a lot of boxing IQ here in Philadelphia, and I'm glad I'm here because of that. Because anywhere else, if you're not in the Midwest and you're anywhere else, you're gonna get something, but it's not really there like you want it to be. And I think even Philly has a propensity to lean less on the IQ and more on being a dog than anything else, because you have guys who can outbox you, but because we want to be so tough here, we'll choose to fight you toe to toe. And that is a mistake. Ask David Reed when he fought Trinidad, was that a mistake? That's a mistake. You can outbox him, outbox him. You try to go toe to toe, get your chin knocked the fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
So there's a bunch of mitigating factors to why boxing is struggling. I don't think it's just one thing.
It's not one, but go ahead.
I think it's a culmination of things. But you make a good point. Philly fighters, and I don't want to delve too much into this because we got to get to other topics.
Go ahead.
But Philly fighters are assholes, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm talking about some of your favorite fighters, and you can tell them I said it because I know these motherfuckers. I may love them, but I know them. The assholes, they can easily outbox you.
Oh,
easily.
for sure.
To the point where dudes think that Shakur don't get hit. They're Philly fighters that you might not hit them at all in a fight. But
man,
go ahead. They have this hubris to where as though you think because they slick and they got skills that if you like you'll get them into a dogfight, you'll beat them. So what they'll do is they'll purposely get in a dogfight with you to show you that you're not safe there either.
Yeah, I can do that too.
They will really do that shit.
Man, what's his name? Sugar Sheen. What's his name? Jefferson.
Rasheem Jefferson Jr. Yes,
I watched him fight. What's his name? Sosa. He was sparring Sosa in Jersey. I watched him spar Sosa. This is what I mean by levels of Philly fighters, man. They sparring. I had never seen Jefferson spar prior.
Wait, tell them we talking about world champion Jason Sosa.
Sosa.
Sheen probably had like 4 or 5 fights.
Maybe 4, right? They sparring. I'm thinking because Sosa is who he is, the reason he's doing as well as he's doing is because he is who he is, and Jefferson is going to be, he has potential. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know what they said before the sparring match, but before they started sparring, I don't know what was said, but I know it must have been an agreement like, don't go hard on me and I won't fuck you up, from Jefferson to Sosa, because Sosa hit him with something. He hit him with like a 2-piece that was vicious, right? And all I remember is Jefferson saying, "What the fuck I tell you?" He started saying, "What the fuck I tell you? What the fuck I tell you?" And he turned up on a level where he beat his ass to the point where Sosa literally just took his head, stuck it out the ring, and got the fuck out the ring. He just got out the ring. He beat him out of the ring. And I'm not talking about knocked him out of the ring. He beat him until he walked out the ring. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's the level of asshole and the level of knowledge that Philly fighters got and the level of dog that they have. But certain guys got a combination of dog and IQ where they understand how to apply it. Boots has that. Cool Boy has that. Like, guys know how to apply that dog and know when to pick their spots to be it. But then you have other guys that just go dog. Meldrick Taylor style. Like, Meldrick Taylor can outbox you, whenever he wanted, but he would go dog. You know what I mean? You can't do it.
Real fast, a disclaimer on that story is that Sosa had been out of the ring, and
I don't give a fuck where he was.
I gotta give context.
All right, give him his respect. I'm not trying to disrespect Sosa when I say that. I don't know the context. I just walked up on it, and that was crazy to me.
I mean, like borderline retired and was thinking about coming back.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't active.
No,
but
he wasn't active.
It still was a totally different level. They wasn't on the same level, I tell you that. And Sosa was bigger, and I'm like, God damn, and that was vicious. So Philly got some talent like that. You never even heard these guys' names. You don't even know who they are. And this dude's, like I said, jump off a fucking postal truck and beat your ass, man. So I love Philly.
All right.
But yeah, you go ahead.
All right. So we're gonna do Rayo versus Russell, and then we're going to last 10, 15 minutes. We're gonna open it up to the panel, and you can ask D your thoughts. Well, you ask D his thoughts. Rayo versus Russell kind of went how I thought it was going to go. I thought it would end in a stoppage. Hey, Bang, if you in there, you need to get on here, and I want a public apology. D, what'd you see in that fight?
What we talk about all the time when you see a southpaw, right? Like Rayo's, he's good, you know what I mean? But I don't give a southpaw credit until I see them fight another top southpaw, right? And Rayo is exactly what I mean. When I was on last time and I talked about that, like, can you deal with another southpaw when you got to now stop a jab, you got to fight honest, meaning you got to deal with both hands. Got to stop a jab. You got to be able to deal with a cross. And Rayo, I don't think Rayo's lost anything. I think Rayo, he lost the fight. I don't think he's lost any skill set or he has a reason to hold his head. I think Rayo just doesn't match up against southpaws who actually know how to fucking box. When you watch that jab that Russell was putting on, and he was doubling and tripling up on the jab, and Rayo didn't know what to do with it because he don't have to deal with the jab. So he kept going straight back. If you're going straight back, dealing with a jab, double jabs, I'm going to feint you and I'm going to hit you with a cross. And then when he started doing that 4 or 5 rounds in, you know what I mean? He couldn't stop it. And when you get to like the 7th round, you can tell Rayo couldn't get out of the way of left hand to save his life. But that's because he don't do southpaws have to deal with left hooks? No. Do they have to deal with jabs? Not from a right-handed fighter? Not really. You know, because they can intercept those shots due to the angles. Once you change that angle, you get to see, do this guy have real boxing IQ, or is he taking advantage of the angle advantage? That's why they call it an angle advantage, right? So Rayo's just one of those guys, you know, that's better at fighting conventional fighters, and he's probably one of those, he couldn't get into his rhythm. You could see him trying to get into his rhythm. He couldn't really get off, and that's because he's not used to fighting southpaws that can actually box. And Russell can box. Like he's a pressure boxer, you know what I mean, or a puncher boxer. You know what I mean? He's coming forward to knock your head off, but he has boxing IQ, and he was coming forward behind his shield in a good ass jab. His jab was very sharp, Rashid Warren sharp jab. Like he was firing it off, and I hats go off to him. I thought he fought an aggressive fight, but he wasn't overly aggressive. He stayed behind his jab, and he you know, broke him down. So, you know, I didn't really care who won that fight, to be honest. I didn't expect it to go one way or the other. But once I started watching it, I knew from the beginning, like, oh, it's going to be a problem for Rayo because he don't know how to get out of the way of that jab. He keep letting it coast him straight back. That's why he able to triple up on it. Because if you fight a guy who knows how to stop a jab, you might miss that first one, slipping off the second one, or you knocking off that second one and you changing the angle so he can't triple up on the jab. If a guy can triple up on the jab straight in a straight line, you going straight back. You don't know how to get out the way of it. Even if you blocking it, you still right there. You know what I mean? So he never changed angles. He couldn't do anything. So and then even when he thought he was safe trying to shoulder roll or trying to just stay in the pocket, he was open for those left hands, those overhand lefts, no short left hands all day. He couldn't do nothing about it. So you know what I mean? Shout out to Russell and their team, but it don't surprise me because they got boxing in their DNA. You know what I mean? They really know how to box. Rayo's a pressure southpaw. He's a less athletic Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? A pressure southpaw. You know what I mean? That doesn't really know how to fight other southpaws. He's not like a pure boxer. You know what I mean? And Russell knows how to box.
All right. 2 things. I put the link in the chat. Anybody wants to hop on and cook, go right ahead. West Coast Boxing. Nando, is that you? But yes, I do have an exclusive Rayo trainer. No, my guy in LA.
Oh, I thought you were Orlando from Precision. What's it called? Was it?
Pivot.
Yeah,
but my man Fernando. Yeah, I have an exclusive with Mikey Garcia, got an exclusive with Robert Garcia, Virgil Ortiz. All that shit is dropping tomorrow early. But yeah.
Kudos.
All right, so all right, my man John Ware.
YSM, what's the deal?
What's good with you,
Johnny?
Man, I've been watching y'all for a minute. I'm sorry, yeah, I've been watching both of y'all for a minute, especially A.K.O.Y.E.
A.K.O.Y.E.
Yeah, you brilliant with boxing. I had
appreciate that.
I had a couple takes you had broke down. I'm like, yeah, this dude know boxing. He really know boxing. Like when I grew up, I didn't really like have like a pops or uncle to teach me like on fighters. Like I knew about De La Hoya and Roy Jones, like casual shit. But I got older, like all right, Terry Norris is one of my fighters.
Yeah.
Like, and I wanted to ask both of y'all brothers, why Mildred Taylor not in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, put your phase. I think phase can put your phone on mute.
Okay.
I can hear your background. I think Mildred Taylor is one of those guys that he was going to make the Hall of Fame probably later. But when you highlight, he's a guy that you don't want to highlight because to highlight Mildred Taylor is kind of like to show the blemishes or the underside or underbelly of boxing, because yes, he's a talent that deserves to be there, but to showcase that talent right now is like it shows some of the blemishes in the sport. So I think it's because of the tragic way his career went. I think they kind of like, kind of sweep that under the rug. Plus, he doesn't have fanfare where people are trying to like push for it. His talent deserves to be there, but I think if I'm guessing, I'm not in the room, so I mean, but if I'm guessing, that would be my reason for why they don't go out, jump out, and showcase it. He doesn't have any spokespersons that's out there pushing for it, and to shine a light on him is like to really hurt the sport even more. Like, you think mothers are like, "Yo, let me hurry up and get my son into boxing," because they can be like, you know what I'm saying? No, people aren't looking at it from that angle. You know what I mean? We already have Ali. We have a lot of guys like Gerald McCullough. You got guys that are, their tragedies are blemishes on the sport. So I look at it that way. You know what I
But
mean? He deserves
that's
it
what
though.
built the sport, because that Philadelphia fighter, as soon as y'all was talking about that, I thought of Mildred Taylor and Chavez. I'm like, man, just flip and move a little bit though. You got this. That whole fight, people look at you completely different, dog. So
yeah, and
but
that's because of the way they train here in the gyms, man. It's like a lot of guys leave their best fights in the gym here in Philly, man. So that's just normal. The Philly gym war is a real thing.
real
Never
quick
died.
with the Tank and Roach fight, I thought you got to beat the champ. I agree with that. Yeah, people could be mad, but you gotta like you said, you really got to take it to him. Even the ninth round when he took the knee, it's supposed to be a 10-8 round, but man, Tank beat the shit out of Roach that ninth round, like they
Yes, he
did
did.
take the point away. I gave it 9-9. I gave Roach 4 rounds. I gave Tank 4 rounds. The first two, it was like and I think
There you go.
the 10th round was like real close. I had to watch that like 3 times. I couldn't
Right.
figure out who won. So it was a close fight, but
Right.
I had to edge Tank. Robbery and all that. I think that's too much casual shit going
Yeah,
on.
robbery going far. I think if you
Yeah.
could say you think Lamont won, I'm not gonna argue with you. Say
Yeah.
that, because those are like those rounds that you said. I give them 4-4-2, and then you got those swing rounds.
Yeah.
So those rounds that are so close that you can't call it. If a judge
Gotta
ruled
get to
that
the
one way or
champion,
the
dog.
other, I ain't mad exactly. But I ain't mad at it going one way or the other on those. So if you say, hey, my guy, Roach won, and I'm a Roach fan, I'm not gonna disagree with you. But did he go out there and like dominate and take it? No. He fought better than anybody else ever
Yeah,
did.
he stood in that pocket.
But
He stood.
yeah,
It's funny. I was watching an interview with my wife, and I was like, "Yeah, his confidence not a facade. Like he really think he could win. Some
oh
like
yeah,
Berlanga and Canelo. I'm gonna beat you.
yeah,
Like he wasn't all like that. He was real calm. Like
yeah. He ain't
man,
playing.
hey, he know what it is. Like he
Yeah,
was real calm. Like yeah, this dude, he gonna go out on this shield tonight, whether he get
yeah,
knocked out or not. But he gonna go out on the shield.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was
All
on
right.
there.
All right. So first I want to put out a disclaimer. Was my man Bang right about Benavidez and Morell? Yes, he was. Benavidez won that fight. Um, did things happen in that fight that I thought would happen? Yeah. But I didn't expect for David Benavidez to have a deeper tool bag than I didn't. He had different jab variations. He was better defensively than what I thought. And yeah, when I thought Morell would hurt him, I thought Morell would finish him, and he
The
did.
fight.
So yeah, so I want to put that disclaimer out here before. So my man Bang was right before I get my apology now, because I was talking to him earlier that day, and I told him Rayo. I ain't even gonna say had no chance, but stylistically, this was a nightmare for Rayo.
Facts.
Bang, the floor is yours.
All right, here I come. You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my bad. I'm at work right quick. So listen. Hey, man, Gary Antoine Russell did everything that I thought he wasn't going to do. He did everything that I thought he wasn't going to do. I didn't think he was going to be patient. He was patient. I thought he was going to get overzealous. He never got overzealous.
You right.
I thought he was going to be doing a lot of leaping in. He didn't do a lot of leaping in. He boxed. He boxed a beautiful fight. To be honest, I never saw him fight like that before ever in my life. For
Maybe the
12
energy.
rounds, the way he fought, And the way and with that being my first time seeing him fight like that for 12 rounds, is the exact reason why I called for Rayo to win the fight originally, because I didn't think he was going to be able to be poised. I didn't think he was going to be able to have his control. I thought when they came out there with their game plan, once it didn't work for him like he wanted to, I thought he was going to go back and result to his old self, leaping in, trying to get the knockout. He was patient. He showed a different level. He showed separation in speed, and he showed separation in power. You feel me?
Who told
Man,
you about the speed, Bang?
No, you say what now?
I said, who told you about that speed though?
No, you did. I just thought, because we got to remember, I'm privy to who Gary Antoine Russell is. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like Rayo was a smoother boxer. I just felt like Rayo was patient enough to set the trap and let him come in and do all that crazy shit he usually do. But he didn't do what he usually do in this fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why I salute Gary Antoine, and I do, and I'm giving you your public apology on your channel, YSM Sports and Media. Y'all hit that subscribe, hit that like
comment,
button,
and subscribe.
all that business, and share. Don't forget to share. You got to tell everybody everywhere from over here to over there. You
From
feel
east
me?
to west, baby. It's YSM.
Everywhere.
YSM like
man.
me.
Hey, you gonna give me my price
Bang
when
a
I tell
pimp.
you a fight?
Hey, yo,
Hey,
no,
yeah.
When I
Hey,
tell
now,
you
man,
somebody do win, yeah, you're gonna kiss my ass the next day.
This nigga stupid.
no,
No, I just
I had
waste
to
some.
grind him up. No, because me and Bang was talking about it, and I was trying to alert him. I'm like, Bang, listen, I
Don't
thought the
do it.
same thing that you thought
Right.
about Gary Antoine. So,
Right.
this is a story for everybody. So this is Wilder Helenius fight week. They do a media
Right.
workout for all the big weeks at Gleason's boxing gym.
Right.
And D, you know boxing, D. So Gary Antoine getting there, and I'm like, all right, I like to look at dudes in the boxing ring, but also I like to watch them train because it gives me a gauge for how good you really are.
Yep.
I like to look at the subtleties, the subtle details. Hey, FaZe, you up next, but so I'm like, damn, this nigga, what he got? 18s on? Was it 20s? Gloves big as shit.
Oh yeah, you know them hands is gonna be fast then.
So then I see him hit the bag. I'm like, whoa. Like, this dude fast? Because I'd never seen it. I just seen him pressure and dog dudes out. I'm like, yo, this dude fast as shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So in my mind, now it makes sense how you were able to beat Boots in the amateurs. And mind you, I thought that Boots got robbed one of those fights. And one of the fights, I know he legitimately won, but it was like, okay, now I see why you were able to get that victory, because you have to have a certain level of athleticism and skill to get that off. And I'd only been seeing you pressure, but now I see why you were able to get your shots off, because you have exceptionally fast hands. And I knew that Rayo, being at 35, you fought a small 35 at 40. You didn't fight a real 40.
Right.
And it's a difference between turning a Mexican fighter and then turning a black guy. Black person fighter. Black fighters naturally have quicker feet. So I figured that would be a problem. FaZe, Cook, talk to me.
He off mute.
FaZe, what you got?
Hey, look, until he get back. Hold on. Hold on.
Out.
He about to go in. Go ahead.
Okay, he in there?
No, good. Go ahead.
All right, so look, check this out. Bro, it wasn't necessarily the pit bull fight that put my chips in the bag for Rayo. I just felt like Rayo all the way around. He had more. He's just a smoother fighter than me. I had only seen Gary Antoine fight one way, and that's extra overly aggressive. You feel me? He got that dog in him, and we love that part of the game too. But when it come down to, like, I just didn't see him being so scientific. He was real scientific against El Rayo, and I never seen that from him before.
He always had that though. It's just that when
And
you get used to fighting one way, or you not, he got a crazy chin, good athleticism,
right,
and tough. He not scared
right,
of guys, and he rely on the fact that he think his pressure and the fact he is southpaw gonna overwhelm you. So when you get
right,
used
right.
to that, you dance with the
Yeah.
chick that brung you. But when he
Hey,
took that L, he like, okay, I need
Coach,
to switch
I
it
want to
up.
know
But go ahead,
Right.
Phase. Go ahead, Phase.
oh,
We can hear you.
my bad. You guys can
Hey,
hear me?
go.
No,
Yeah,
we
go.
talking to you. Go.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking about hey, how important is Tank's corner, man? It looked like his corner was like real disruptive, man. I saw like Calvin sticking his head under the rope. I saw Kenny standing on the rope, and I seen Barry trying to get his attention in the middle, and Tank really couldn't. I felt like Tank really wasn't really listening to Barry. He was just kind of saying yeah, and he was really probably trying to hear Kenny on the side of him. I'm like, damn, this is bad, man.
When,
Like you think if he just get back with Kenny and Calvin and they get their game plan right, he'll come in there and you'll see a different Tank.
it's like
Good
you
question.
can't serve two masters, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna love one and hate the other, or lean towards one over the other, you know what I mean? So either you fire Calvin all the way and Kenny all the way, or you keep them. Because once you see, like, I might be a trainer, like I tell you about Hawk, right? That's my pet project, you know what I mean? So if I'm in the corner and I'm trying to be the second guy now, right, in the corner, I either got to be all the way out the corner or I got to be his trainer. Because if I'm in the corner and I'm giving the keys to someone else to speak to you, and I don't trust that he knows exactly what to say, and I see the fight getting away from you, you're gonna see 3 or 4 guys like you saw jumping up trying to speak all at the same time. And that lets you know that, yes, they gave him in the beginning, they wasn't doing that. So they gave him leeway, gave Barry leeway to do what he needed to do. But once they saw that it was getting kind of crazy, you saw Calvin and Kenny jumping up there. Once you seen that, you already know that was a key indicator that they felt like Tank needed, a push, you know what I mean? And that it wasn't one voice. They wasn't trusting what Barry was saying to him because they wouldn't be up there if they thought that Barry had it under control. So that to your point, that lets you know right there that yeah, they felt that Tank needed them. And maybe you're right, because if Tank's not paying attention to what Barry is saying, which he didn't seem like he was, or he was leaning towards Kenny, or Calvin jumping in and trying to scream at him because he got that father figure energy and probably a lot more respect from Tank than Barry does, you know what I mean? Then that lets you know where you need to be, because Tank's a guy where he is a stubborn bull that want to do what he want to do, you know what I mean? So he probably needs that guy that ain't scared to get in his face and get in his shit and tell him about himself, and that he's actually going to respond to. So I think he should go back to Calvin, in my opinion, because like they said in the chat, only 2 fights that he went the distance is with Barry, you know what I mean? So go back to the dance with the chick that
Yeah,
brung you, man. Do what works. So I'm not even down on Tank like everybody else is because of that fact. If he got his ass beat
I agree.
bad and he was
I
with
agree.
Calvin, then you
Hmm.
beat him. You beat the Tank that
Yeah,
everybody else
Yeah.
is scared of. You didn't beat the Tank that everybody's scared of because he didn't have his tools with him. That's like if you beat Crawford without Bomac. You know what I mean? It ain't
I
the
was
same
just
thing.
saying that.
It ain't the
It was
same
like
thing.
watching Crawford without Bomac. It was real
Yeah,
weird, man. I didn't like
it
that.
ain't the same. So
Hey, one more thing
go ahead.
before I cut out on y'all.
Yeah, do your thing.
Have you noticed when you did you ever see the Hector Garcia fight when the crowd started acting funny and Tank kind of made the ref call a timeout and he blitzed Hector Garcia when he came back, like he started to inflict damage? I saw that same thing after that pause. He
Yeah, I'm
blitzed
telling
Lamont
you.
Roach something decent. He almost knocked Lamont
Yeah.
Roach out in that 9th round when he went back. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but Lamont's his ankle rolled and everything. It was like
Yeah,
he blitzed them hard after that timeout, man.
but
Tank tried to
I
steal the
give
momentum. I think he's trying to
he
steal the
did.
momentum.
He did, but I give Roach's credit because whenever Tank turned up and hit him with something that you just knew, because whenever Tank got hurt, he tried to turn up and try to change the tide, but Roach was ready for that, and he always
Yeah.
had an answer for it. You know what I mean? So you saw Tank rally off like 3 body shots, and then come up top, catch Roach. Roach didn't like back off. He didn't show any signs of, how certain fighters that get hit with a body shot, right? They try to hide it. They'll put their arm down, or they go kill some time. They move laterally and they buy themselves like 30 seconds. Roach
That,
ain't do
that,
none of that. When he got hurt, he went right back at Tank with the same shit,
that's why
even
you
when he
need a
got hurt.
daddy in your life. All of us black men, you need a daddy in your life. Because
Yeah.
that's what my wife said. She watching like, oh, Roach must have this daddy, he tough. I was like, his daddy is trainer. You get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You
Uh-huh.
need that, man. You're gonna go a little bit extra for your daddy. You gonna go a
Hey,
little bit
look.
extra.
Hey, look. Not only that, but look. Okay, so look, I'm not a trainer, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Coach Barry being in the corner, Coach Kenny, Coach Calvin, I don't think that played a part, bro. Unless it played a mental part. If they
Oh
had
no, it didn't.
like some turmoil and behind the curtain or whatever.
All three of them is in the corner at the same time screaming
I disagree, bang.
instructions.
He wasn't
All
Okay,
trying
three
no,
of
but
them in
look,
there.
I feel
Like
you. I feel you.
if three managers
No,
are
no.
screaming at you right now, you'd be like, "What the fuck you want me to do?" It's three of y'all
Right,
telling
right,
me to
right,
do
right.
some shit.
Right. But let me finish my point, and
My
and
bad.
then you know what I'm saying. No, you good. But what I'm saying that to say this, I feel like Tank is at the level to where when I go out there, my coach could tell me something. I might see it, I might not see it. But once this shit start flying through the air, I'm going off my instinct, what I know.
Apex
What's
predator.
been working for me every fight before I got here. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna start going on. I don't think it was the coaches being the problem in Tank's corner that played a part in his performance. I think his performance, uh, uh, it was just he didn't punch. This had to be his lowest output fight ever, bro.
No,
He didn't really he didn't start throwing nothing in particular until like the fight ain't get started till like the sixth
you,
round.
you know what it
Let
You
me
was,
feel me?
Bang.
go ahead.
I'm sorry, real
Rookie.
quick. You know what it was,
Yeah.
Bang. I think we giving Roach the proper respect because he stood tall. Because if it was any other fighter, even Shakur, he would have been on that mat, dog. I think what people were saying
Yeah.
about Roach,
He got a
he
chin.
was just. I don't think on Tank slipping. I don't think it was none of that. I just think Roach was a man and stood his ground. That's all it is. I don't think it was no slippage or no retirement. I just think some of them shots he was landing, man. Like go to that ninth round, man. He was fucking Roach up. I thought he was gonna stop him, but Roach stood his ground. I think that's. But the second fight, the rematch, he gonna stop Roach.
And you
Stop Roach.
get a
I thought he was
lower
gonna stop him too.
punch output when you got a guy standing in front of you that you know is trying to counter you, right? You're gonna get a lower punch output because if you the type that's like Tank, yeah, you looking for your shots and you know that guy is waiting for you to open up so that he can do what he likes to do. You're gonna pick your spots a little bit better because they both were standing in front of each other at times in the beginning of the fight, not
First 6
throwing at
rounds.
all. They right on each other. They toe to toe the whole fight, but they wasn't throwing punches because they both know what each other is trying to do. You know what I'm saying? They know each other very well. So when you know somebody trying to trap you or trying to bait you into certain shit,
I ain't going.
it's
Roach
wise.
wasn't going.
It's
I know.
wise. It's wise
Okay,
to
so
lower your punch output. Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, they started that shit back in the day where they said, "Oh, this fight," like they'll ask a guy, why weren't you punching as much as you usually do?" Like when Shane Mosley fought Floyd, they're like, "Well, why didn't you keep punching?" It's not
You
just
knew
go
something
out
was
there
gonna
and
come.
punch. Guys are standing in certain places where they understand, like you'll see, like, okay, my jab might get off on you. I might have a fighter let you hit him with a jab on purpose, right? Early in the fight, so that he could start timing that jab and come over the top of it with a right hand. If that fighter that I'm setting up like that though understands that, what he gonna do less of? He gonna jab less because he know, all right, he on that now. Now I see he waiting for that, so I'm not throwing that no more. Now he got to set something else up, and while he's doing that, you get inactivity. So sometimes you're gonna get inactivity due to the fact that fighters know that, oh, okay, he got my card on that. Like when you watch Boots fight, what was the dude name? Sergey what's his name? Lipinets.
Lipinets.
When he fought Lipinets was doing some shit. But whenever Lipinets would change the tide and do something, like he caught Boots with a jab, right? A good jab. Literally in the same round, I think probably like 6th, 7th round. He went to go do it again. Boots flipped it and came right over the top of it like immediately. Then Sergey switched. He stopped throwing the jab because he never gonna throw that again. Because he like,
know what's
yo,
coming back.
I know what's coming back off that. I'm not doing that no more. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And now Boots can even miss that shot, but them bullets singing past your head make you think different. So you already understand, like if you playing high speed chess, you're gonna move different because
go to
you
the body,
understand
man.
traps
Go to
that
the
they're trying to
body,
make.
penitentiary style.
Man,
Penitentiary
going
style.
to the
Okay, so
body,
look.
Like he know
going to
how
the
to.
body
Okay,
crazy
He know
when you
how to
know
trigger
somebody trying to
Tank.
tear
You
your
know,
ass up,
he know
man.
how Tank is wired. I think Barry was trying his best to be the head coach, but it was like these guys on the side really, really, really know
Been there
how
with
to
him.
trigger Tank. Yeah,
right.
really
Right.
know how. Because Coach Calvin tell him like, hey, penitentiary style, man, hit him in the body. Hit him in the body. He know how to drag
Right,
that
right.
extra dog out of Tank. And
the
I think Gray
lingo.
was
He
trying his
speak he
hard. He
speak
was
his
yelling at
language.
Tank, listen, do this. Tank sitting there, eyes looking back and forth at Calvin and Kenny. It was real awkward for Tank. And I think if he had a camp with Calvin and Kenny, he'd be way more like,
And see,
you know what I mean?
and see, and
That
see, that's
locked in.
what, and
Just
that's the,
locked in. Just
part,
locked in.
and them the parts I miss because I called the fight live on my channel, Fighting Words with Bang. Y'all go holler at me. I called I called the fight, so I had the TV on mute. But here's the thing, though. I got a question for everybody. All right, so when I saw Roach get off some shit on Tank, he moved Tank. You can see it looked
The
like
eighth
a
round.
separation, and it man through everything, not just the eighth round. Not just the eighth round. I seen it a few times in that fight where Tank got knocked off balance. So here's the thing. Roach damn near looked like he showed a separation in power because his punches looked more effective on Tank than Tank's punches did to him
Man,
throughout the fight. Throughout the fight. So
I ain't
here's the
see that
thing.
I
bad.
give balance.
I
Balance is
saw
key
it.
though. Sometimes you get hit. Like there's times where you can get hit, right? Where I got guys who don't know how to keep their feet right, right? You get hit
Right,
when you standing wrong. It looked like
right,
it hurt way more than it does. Like Tank is getting shot, catching shots in between shots. So he's getting hit while he's punching, while he's already
right.
overextending. His chin is over his front foot, things like that. So when you get caught in those moments when you're not looking, yeah, it's gonna stumble you, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm hurt. I think Tank did get hurt in the fight though. I'm not gonna front on that,
That's what I'm saying.
but
So look,
some of the times where you saw him like move by punches, it doesn't necessarily mean that Roach was hitting harder. He just hit him at the right moments. You know what I'm saying? I don't have
okay,
to hit
which
harder
is
than you. I just
Hey,
can
yo,
hit
right.
you. Timing is
two,
Which
everything. If I hit you at the right time,
Same
I'm gonna
thing,
make it look good.
Mayweather. He wasn't the
Yeah,
hardest hitter,
exactly.
but when
yeah,
he was
wait,
accurate, same thing with Crawford. When they hit you, it's like,
Yeah,
damn.
I
I
don't think he
I
right,
got more
Yeah.
power than Tank.
agree with y'all estimations. Whereas though he got the better of exchanges to the point where Tank. It was a couple times. I'm gonna say it was at least 2 to 3 times where Tank had to get out of that kitchen because
Yeah.
that shit got hot for him,
Oh yeah,
and
fact.
he knew,
absolutely.
no,
And
I gotta get back in range because in short distance, in short range, Lamont Roach got the better of Tank. And I
Yeah,
right,
realized that Tank isn't a great inside
inside fighter.
fighter. Tank is
right,
great at mid range. He's
right,
Tank
exceptional
right,
at mid range.
exceptional mid range, and
right.
the things that he likes to do inside though, when you pay attention, Roach. One thing I give him great credit for, and it wasn't anything to do with any punches. It was head control. Whenever Tank will get down in you know pickable stance, and he'll put his head right in your chest. When he kept doing that to Roach, instead of Roach just standing there waiting for Tank to kind of pick his shots and do what he wants to do, he didn't get anxious. He just would pull Tank's head down and just rally him
Move
by
him
him and
around.
step off to the side. He kept doing it, or he'll punch him in the side of his head or punch him in his body while he's doing that. Tank usually, when you watch him fight Ryan Garcia, he did the same thing. Stay right in his chest. When he fought Frank
Yo,
Martin,
Martin.
same thing.
yo,
Stay right in his chest low, waiting for you to shoot so he can get under you and counter. He couldn't do that because whenever he got inside and tried that, Roach would just grab his head and hold him down. That was
they
smart.
did. It's
Yeah, let him
funny
get
that
off
you
of him.
brought that up. I know of sparring sessions that he hates that.
When you grab his head,
Absolutely hates it.
So
he hated it
okay,
that
so
night because he
look,
was
so
pissing.
check this
Yeah.
out. So check this out though. So check this out. With the success, the level of success that Roach had in this fight, with him knowing Tank, with him being able to catch Tank between punches, with Tank's punches not really phasing them like they'll phase anybody else. Y'all need to get a little closer. I got a question.
Mm.
How are we so sure that Tank will knock him out in the second fight? And how are we
Oh,
so
I'm
sure
not.
that Roach won't be more confident coming in that second fight and
Can
really
I
taking
can I answer
advantages
I
of
don't. I
more
don't think.
openings?
I
You
think
shouldn't be
that.
sure of anything, though.
Not at all. You can't be. Some guys got your number. I don't think. I think Shane Mosley was a good example of what we talking about.
Vernon Forrest.
Shane Mosley
Oscar?
Vernon
versus Vernon
Forrest.
Forrest. Vernon
Vernon
Forrest
Forrest.
it was
Yeah.
good. Rest in peace. Right? He was good. Not great, but good. You know what I'm saying? But he had Shane Mosley number. Roach has Tank's number, or maybe he had the number that he was calling that night. You know what I'm saying? He might change it, but you never know. But that I don't think that takes away from Tank. I think that's like you just got a guy that's familiar with you, that's not afraid of you, who knows what to do, and who's willing to do what it takes to beat you. Everybody can't repeat that blueprint though. So I don't think
Facts.
that
Facts.
I don't think honestly, I'm just keeping it a bean. Boxing fans want to see that fight again. If I'm Tank's team, I stay away from that fight because you're fighting a guy who knows your number. And when you watch fights like that, Mayweather fought Castillo twice and he looked better in the second fight because I believe that he really did hurt his hand in the first fight. But when you watch Shane Mosley fight Vernon Forrest the second time, he ain't look no better. You know what I'm saying? So when you fight those rematches sometimes against guys, I think it's a bad joint. Roy Jones should have stayed the hell away from Tarver too after he fought him the first time. Just stay away from him. Yeah. This guy got your number. Stay away from that. So I think certain guys that understand how to fight you, they come along once in the blue moon, and when they do, you give them their respect and you keep it the fuck moving. That's what you do. I mean,
here's the issue,
don't fight on pride.
There's a big issue, and I feel like we haven't really touched on it. There's an overreaction going, and it's because of the way boxing fans consume and judge boxers. If you are popular, if we see you on TV, you are good. If I've never heard of you, you are a bum. Yeah. You are a cab driver. Yeah. You're an electrician. You're not good.
Y'all. That's why we need y'all channels. For casuals don't know.
Remember, a lot of the boxing that you consume, I'm going to name names, and it's not because I don't like these people, but the truth is the truth. I'm a consumer. I consume boxing. Showbiz the Adult, Blue Blood. I subscribe from him. Wait, Fanon, like a lot of these bigger channels, they cover the tippy top of boxing, and they cover guys that's going to get views. And I understand it because I'm in the business, and if you're trying to make money, you're going to cover people that people want to watch or listen about.
Right.
But a lot of guys get lost in the shuffle. And now it puts boxing fans in a space that, I never heard of this dude. This dude ain't shit. So now when he comes out and he looks great, now you got dudes calling Tank a bum because, Lamont Roach is a C-level fighter. I seen somebody have a title that Tank lost to a C-level fighter.
Minus 1,600 odds.
Who the fuck said?
Plus 1,600 odds.
Who the fuck said he was a who the fuck said he was a C-level fighter?
And not only that, even if he was or is a C-level fighter, again, styles really do make fucking fights. I could be a C-level fighter that just match up well against you. I might match up.
Everybody isn't playing. And that's the biggest takeaway. Bruno Serrans not timing McGee's fucking head off. Just because dude's record is whatever, just because you've never seen him no more, doesn't mean he's fucking around.
Who's that for? Darnell Barnes or whatever his name
was? Darnell Boone.
Beat the shit out of Ward. He beating the shit out of Ward. You know what I'm saying? Andre Ward, don't fight him again. He knocked the shit out.
Hey, man, what Will Ferrell said? He's a man. He's got a beard. He's a man.
Another fight too, y'all stay away from. What's the dude De La Hoya fought with the jab?
Ike Cortez.
All right, Cortez. Stay away from Ike Cortez. I didn't get that from Tank and Roach. I think Tank just gonna press it a little bit more in the second fight. Like, okay.
I don't think he should fight him again.
Yeah, he got to. He got to fight it for the. I mean, he got to fight that again.
He don't. He don't.
You guys ain't gonna fuck around and run into something with Roach.
You guys
fuck around, run into something, trying to knock him out,
right?
With that chip on the shoulder.
This is the reason he don't got to fight him again. And this is the reason. Let somebody else handle that light work. This is why I say that from a business standpoint. Roach got enough fanfare now where we get to see what Roach really is. Is Roach the guy that just knows Tank well enough to do this in this fight, or is he really at this level? Right.
That's why we got to run it back.
But no. But when he fight, because he could beat Tank twice, and you still think he really at this level, and then go get his ass whipped everywhere else, like Ryo just did against. We thought Ryo was at a certain level till he fought Russell, right? You know what I'm saying? When Roach fights somebody else, like if he fights a Haney or he fights a Shakur, and he looks washed or he gets washed, then Roach becomes like a journeyman or a gatekeeper. He will be pushing the gatekeeper status, and Tank doesn't have to fight him again right now because now he can fight whoever wiped Roach out. You know what I'm saying? So I would let somebody else handle him and then fight the guy who handles it. You know what I'm saying? If I was Tank, that's smart business. I wouldn't fight Roach again because he stands more to lose than Roach does. Roach ain't got nothing to lose fighting him again. Roach gonna win even if he loses. If he fights him again, it don't matter how he loses. He already got one in the bag on Tank, right? I think you parlay that if you're Roach into another mega fight with somebody else. Now, if he can go and give Shakur that type of problem, then he's real. If he can go give a Haney that type of problem, or a Garcia or any of those guys, then he's real. Then, okay, now Tank fights him again and is worth more money for both of them, and now you do that. But if he doesn't, and we're thinking that he really is the C-level fighter that everybody's trying to say he is, and he loses in that gauntlet, he makes some money on the way, but Tank, nobody's going to be asking 3 fights down the line for him to fight him again.
A disclaimer when my man Darius is talking. Darius is a promoter.
I'm a promoter.
So he's approaching it from the standpoint of number one rule of promotion. Protect your ticket sellers.
Protect your bag, baby. Y'all crazy.
As a fan,
if Tank asks me, can you fight? No.
Hey, guys, I got one though. I know you guys absolutely right. I said that about Tank. He's a mid-range fighter, mid-level fighter. He wants to gather up. He wants that punch to come from the ring, his legs. He wants to fully extend that thing. Could that be something in the future that, not a blueprint, but something like, okay, your best defense is to stay closer rather than staying so far and letting him walk you down?
You said stay close to Tank?
Work for everybody.
Stay closer to Tank rather than let him walk you down, throw that long shot. Stay close to him and challenge him in the inside a little bit more.
The bad thing about boxing is highlights, because, in commentators. Because when you're watching it and you're listening to commentators, you hear commentators talk about punches that one guy's throwing, and they're not talking about the ones that the other guy's landing, right? And the same thing with highlights. I see a lot of highlights of what Roach was doing to Tank. Nobody's showing the highlights of what Tank did to Roach.
Tank did a lot of good body work, y'all.
It ain't like he put in some work against Roach. So, yeah, you got a point. Roach did well, but Roach had to eat a lot of shots to do what he did. Everybody, you already seen what the damage that Tank causes when he hit you clean. Everybody can't stand in front of Tank and do that. It only take one from him to get you the fuck up out of here. Roach just got a beard for real. And he really went out there with death on his mind. He's gonna have to kill him to get him.
You're gonna have to kill me in this ring.
Yeah. Right. So everybody, not like, you could say, does that work for Roach? Yeah. But I wouldn't go and tell everybody else to repeat that. You know what I mean? That don't
right. I believe from what I saw, just from what I saw, I feel like Roach was more effective in that fight against Tank than what Tank was to him, bro. When y'all say Tank buckled him, when he rolled his ankle, it might have been once or twice. I seen Tank knocked off balance a few times in that fight. I seen Tank getting in that pocket. It was troublesome for him in that pocket. I voted for Tank to win this fight. I'm not against Tank. I'm just calling what I saw.
Bang. What you saw is him step to Tank. He stepped
right. Right. And he was effective with his stepping.
Yes.
He was an effective
Omar
stepper.
coming.
You feel me?
Omar
so
coming.
yeah.
He hit it with the Omar coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But I mean, I agree with you, Bang, on that one. Like, yeah, he definitely was more effective than, I would say he's more effective than anybody else I saw fight.
Absolutely.
Tank did step up. Like, when he stepped up, every time Roach hurt him, he would come back with everything he had. Like, he was coming back with firing off combinations and catching Roach. It's just Roach was ready for it. I mean, he was prepared for it. He didn't get caught. And what Roach did not do much of was get caught in between his shots. Roach, all the shots that Roach was catching, he could see him coming. So even when he got hit, his hands up,
and he had an answer. Roach had answers for Tank.
He never led he never was leading. Roach didn't start off the combinations. He would let Tank start and intercept every time. So I'm gonna let you throw your left, and then I'm gonna come off with something off that.
He knew that left was coming too.
If Tank would have done what he wanted to do, which was make Roach lead, then Roach wouldn't have been able to absorb those shots, because he would have been getting caught the same way Tank was, in between his shots. And if Tank catch you and you don't see it, you're done. I don't give a fuck how strong your chin is.
So Roach, is it safe to say that Roach kind of out IQ'd Tank in this fight?
Roach had a game plan,
and he stuck with it.
You got problems. You got problem solvers. I say this all the time. Roach had a great solution for the problem that Tank got comfortable with. Tank got comfortable being a certain type of problem, and Roach had an answer for that particular equation. That don't mean he's gonna have an answer for the next one, or for the next style that Tank come out with. But for the style that Tank has been leaning on for the last 4 or 5 fights, Roach had an answer for that. But Tank got different styles, man. He just didn't. I don't think he came in thinking that Roach would be able to take it to a level that would make him deploy something different. And now you in the middle of the fight. So you fighting off emotions and you feel like you got to do something different because you in the fight. Like when you watch Sugar Ray Leonard versus Duran, the first time Sugar Ray Leonard fought toe-to-toe, thinking like, because he fighting off of emotion and bravado. Second time he said, no, I know how to beat you. I'm just not going to fight the fight that you want me to fight this time. And you don't know what Tank will do next time. I don't think Tank should be scared of Roach. I just feel like he got too much to lose to fight Roach again. I think you fight him later if you're going to fight him. But Roach had a great strategy for what Tank has been putting on tape. Like if I'm watching Tank, or if I'm watching any fight, I analyze what they do well and what they don't do well and what they're trying to do in a particular fight against my guy and what type of strategy can we deploy to counteract that. And Roach just had a great their team had a great strategy for what Tank presents. You don't let him sit in the pocket right in your chest and rest when he wants to rest. When he's trying to rest, make him fight or make him hurt. Like lean on him, make him hurt. You get what I'm saying? When he's trying to get off on you or when he's trying to change the tide of the fight, you got to calm his ass back down. He kept doing it over and over and over again. So, that's how he trained situational boxing. That was situational boxing. He wasn't just out there punching. It was a lot of IQ too. So you're right. He out IQ'd him in that particular style. That doesn't mean he has a higher boxing IQ overall, but he knew what to do against that.
But
Tank,
Bang,
Tank didn't think he did.
Let me ask you this: through the first 6 rounds, like how did you have it with Tank and Roach?
To be super honest with you, bro, like I didn't see a punch. I didn't see nothing solid get thrown until the 3rd round. I really don't know how to judge the first 2 rounds because it was a bunch of filler.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of filler. Like I'm filling out for you. Like I seen them get glove to glove. When you ear muff up and you come in, you lean in forward and you glove to glove, damn near forehead to forehead. They would I'm on break, baby. I got you.
Don't give Buddy no fucking shine. Don't give him no tick, Mill. Fuck boy.
No, I've been in the joints. I've been in the joints.
Don't give him no tick.
Yo, real fast, right? I feel like the moral of this story is we need to see these fights. Stop judging fights on paper. Stop judging fights by name recognition. Stop saying I don't want to see that fight. He a bum or that's a cherry pick, because the best fights that we've seen so far is fights that Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence was supposed to be a super fight. You've literally seen fights that were supposed to be cherry picks look better.
Errol Spence, my favorite fighter too.
Madrimov was supposed to be a C+ fighter, right? He only got 10 fights.
Mm-hmm.
A lot better than Earl Spence, but Earl Spence was supposed to be the mega fight.
Yeah,
we got to see him.
Styles make fights.
Styles make fights. We got to see him. Number 2, is there a fighter stylistically that would see that performance and get a bright idea?
Keyshawn.
He
Maybe
too green.
Keyshawn.
He too green, and Shakur ain't got enough
No,
power.
Whoa.
Keyshawn. He can train by Bomac.
Bro,
he can train by Bomac.
Yeah, it's not even about Bomac. It's in the sense of, okay, who can duplicate stylistically? Who can duplicate what was seen? Right?
Keyshawn likes standing in the pocket. He loves standing in the pocket.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Listen, man. Woo, what's his name? Nair Albright. Don't punch very hard, man. He damn near knocked Keyshawn's head off, man. I just think that he damn near knocked his head clean. He damn near knocked his head clean off in the 10th round.
You fucking with me?
Who?
Yeah, what I said, Keyshawn too green and Shakur.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that Keyshawn would if he exchanges with Tank,
anybody could get caught with a shot.
Can he? Anybody can, but can he take those shots the same way Roach did? Everybody can't do that, Mill. Like
no,
Roach.
Listen.
Idea, you might go to sleep.
I feel like it's a misinterpretation. Really hear me, right?
Yeah.
The first thing that people do, you know this, Darius.
Yeah.
A dude looks unbeatable.
Yeah.
And then you see somebody either beat them or be very, very effective. And I said, who would be the first fighter that gets the bright idea like,
I can do this. I think it's going to be
Crawford at 135. That's it.
stylistically, right?
Or Keyshawn, yeah.
Stylistically, Keyshawn can duplicate a lot of this shit that I saw Lamont Roach do physically. Now, if Lamont Roach can go out there with the same game plan, if he get caught with the right shot, he going to bed. So it don't mean that Tank won't get you. It just means that
can you fight that style?
Does this person have the tools to be able
and he's sharper than Roach too.
To actually try to apply that game plan?
Yes. It's Keyshawn. Shakur, he not calm enough to sit up in there with Tank like that. He ain't fucking with that. He ain't fucking with that. Let Tank throw that shit and I try to roll it. He's not gonna fuck with that like that.
That's
He's
like
not gonna do that.
Lamont Roach fought like Tim Duncan, man. He was calm and collected.
Shakur,
even when he was getting cracked, he was still chilling. He ain't get hyped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Shakur gonna see that shit. He gonna feel it on the
get
shoulder.
emotional.
He out the way.
Listen, the first key to Lamont Roach, it was before training camp. It was before any of this shit. He believed that he could step to him. He believed that he could beat him. Belief is probably confidence is the most important aspect of any athlete. One. Number two, there isn't a human being alive that I think is more confident than Keyshawn Davis.
No, it ain't. It ain't.
Whether it's delusion,
I don't care what it is.
whether it's delusion, whether you think he's wrong, whether you think he's crazy, there is no human being on earth that is more confident than Keyshawn Davis.
It's that Ali shit. It's that Ali shit. He feels something about himself, man. He's self-assured like a motherfucker, man. And he's seeing that, and he know he hits harder than Roach. He feel like he can hit. He feel like he can hit Tank.
Confident. Yeah, he definitely confident.
And that's the first step to it. See, when you got to think about the people that wasn't scared of Mike Tyson. Even if he beat him, they gave him better fights. The people like Razor Rudder. Mike had to run that back. He had to run that back because he wasn't scared of him. Buster Douglas wasn't scared of him in that first fight. Holyfield wasn't scared of him. Once these big names get out there with somebody that ain't scared of them, you see a better fight. Even with the Pitbull wasn't scared of him. He gave Tank a good fight. Tank won that fight hands down. By no means am I saying Pitbull won.
The common factor though with all those fights, except for I think Mosley and Forrest, the common factor is those guys had to take damage in order to inflict their damage, including Roach. They had to take damage.
That's part of the game.
So yeah, they smell blood in the water. Everybody gonna try you, but that might be good for Tank because if you come out there trying to now, like here's the good thing about somebody thinking that they put something on tape against you. You know exactly how everybody's going to try you from now on. That's how they're going to fight you. So now you know what styles to prepare for, because when I'm watching the fight, I say, well, what fights didn't he look good in? So this is a style that we can borrow from in our game plans preparing for this fight, right? So if everybody's trying to, scout you that way, you know how they coming for you. So that gives you something to predict coming into a fight. You know what I mean? So that's actually the good thing for Tank is you think that this could fuck with me. I know, and you don't know why. Even if he had a different training camp, people say he wasn't focused in training camp. He wasn't listening to his trainers. And if Mill is right, hubris has gotten to him, right? He's arrogant at this point, and he's probably not focused. But if this has focused him, and you come in here doing that, and he like, yo, you think this gonna fuck with me? You're gonna be in for a rude awakening. Because I know how to be. He might know exactly why he didn't do well in that fight. We don't. He know.
Right.
What he didn't do. You know.
That's what. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say Keyshawn looked like the most complete fighter at 135. I feel like the dude got a toolbox. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go on a limb and say Tank really does not look comfortable if he can't get off that long leaping left hand. Like if it ain't straight at you from a good mid-range length, it don't look like he's gonna be able to really.
No,
I don't know.
I gotta disagree with you, bro.
Yeah,
just watch him knock out Ryan Garcia and say he had to lunge in with that. He was right in the pocket with that one. So Tank can hit you from anywhere. He gonna knock the shit out you. When he fought, was it Leo? Was it Santa Cruz? Who's the boy who knocked out with
that uppercut? Oh my god,
uppercut! He right up on you with that. So
that's the best. Yeah,
he got a lunge in left hand.
That's a counter though. That's a counter punch though. You know what I mean?
That's what he does though. He makes you lead, and then he catches you inside your shots with short, choppy punches, like precise punishment. And those are short shots. So a lot of Tank knockouts come from short, quick shots. So I don't think he does have a lunging left hook and a lunging overhand left and a lunging right hook. Yeah, he does have that. But he a short guy, he a little 5'5" guy. He get right up on you, do his work, man. Like from mid range, he just take a half step back before he walk in. That's all. That's why they say he's a excellent fighter from mid range, because he's standing there, but he really closer to you than you think. Like he's standing at mid range, but he's waiting for you to lead so he can ride your work right back in. He's gonna ride your jab back to you. So if you lazy bringing your jab back, he waiting for you to jab so he can walk in off that jab. He waiting for you to throw right hand so he can walk back in off that, and he uses mid range to do that, because if he was taller, he could fight from the outside. He can't get close to you from there. He can't hit you from out there. So he stands mid range. He waits for you to engage, half step back, and then he walk in on you when you're doing that. So that's why they saying that he's an excellent mid-range fighter, but he doing all his work up close. But mid-range is just how he judges his timing and how he judges his distances to get up on
Mr.
you.
Darius,
so I disagree with you on that.
Real quick, what would Tank do different in the rematch? What would he do if you was training him? What would you tell him?
He would fill the void. So even though Roach was waiting for you to lead, stop trying to take his head off. Just touch him. He wasn't in those lulls in the beginning of the fight. You should be touching him, breaking him down, just touching him and making it so that Roach, when you fighting a guy that wants to play, Tim Duncan slow ball, half court football, half court basketball, you run on him. Get what I'm saying? You make it so that by the 6th or 7th round, you up on so many points, obviously from touching him so much. He now has to come to you because his corner going to tell him you're losing this fight. You got to go get him. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where the
now
knockout
Tank will
comes.
fuck you up.
Yeah.
But if you let him sit there in the void and not do anything, like if I can stand in front of you and feint and keep you, inactive, and you keeping me inactive, I'm not tiring myself out. You're not wearing me down, and I don't feel like I'm losing because you're not doing anything to me that convinces me that I've lost a number of rounds or convincing my corner either. So what I would say is just touch him and don't have a lot of inactivity. If Tank is touching him more, like just being a little bit more active, and I don't mean aggressively, like throwing power shots, just touch him.
Like
just
body
touch him.
work.
Yeah, like to Mill's point, try to score points early in the fight and get up. Because once he's up and now you're making the guy come to you. So now Roach got to open up and got to lead to get
a good
pass. That's what I would do.
What if Tank can't deal with Roach's timing? Roach ain't as fast as Tank, but the punches that he hit Tank with was all about timing. I think I talked to Mill. I think I talked to Mill about this, and I talked to 12th Street. Some of my guys in Philly. You know what I'm saying? Right. I was telling them, I say, man, since Roach can't really you can't really compare Roach to a Tank as far as like they attributes or whatever. Like, Tank is faster, Tank is stronger, Tank is this, feet and all that. I said the only way Roach would beat Tank is if he got perfect timing. And he had perfect timing throughout
against big shots, though, bro. You're right. But against big shots.
Right, but see when the big shots, but see when the big shots is coming, that's when you more vulnerable for the counter to get hit and rock.
Exactly. But I don't have to throw big shots from Tank. I'll just let the knockout come to you. Just touch him, be active, and touch him. You know what I'm saying?
Go back to the Greg Hackett interview, right before the fight. It's like a couple days before. Darius, and I don't know if you've seen this, but he warned for this same exact thing. Tank crouches down and starts boom, boom when he wants to turn up. What Darius is saying, don't torque on the shot. Just touch, because when you touch, it's easy to touch, come back. When you loading up on your shots,
you're getting caught in between those shots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's effectively what he was doing.
You think Costa Zoo was better than Zab Judah?
No, not talent.
Zab Judah was trying to knock his head off. Costa Zoo just was catching him in between big shots. When you try to land big shots, you can get caught. Even Boots get caught in between big shots. Like when you're trying to land big shots, you can get caught. When you just touching the guy and you building up points, it's harder to time a jab than it is to time an overhand left. You know what I'm saying? Or big hooks. You can get in between those shots. Straights beat round off shots all day. So I would just tell him, touch him. And you say timing is everything. everything it is, but Tank coming out, setting up those big shots behind a jab. Just think of the last fight you saw before this fight with Gary Anton Russell, where he coming out. The reason that you pick Rayo in the first place, bang, because Gary Antoine Russell was doing exactly what Tank was doing, coming out throwing big shots in his last fight. But this fight, what did he do? He stayed behind a jab. He just was touching him and opening him up for big shots. If Tank fights behind his jab, or he's coming in, he's just doing light work, quick hands and all that. The Tank that fought Pitbull Cruz, that was boxing, will beat Lamont Roach. That guy beats Lamont Roach, even though both of those are Barry Hunter. But that guy beats Lamont Roach because he wasn't trying to take Pitbull Cruz's head off anymore, because he realized I'm hitting him with big shots early and he ain't going nowhere. I'm just hurting my hands on his head. So I'm going to just touch him. He just beat him with boxing IQ. Tank been, like I said, victories defeated him because Tank's been beating guys with his stalking style. He's been stalking guys and knocking the shit out of them with big shots. So why wouldn't he come in here thinking he could do that to Lamont Roach? Now that he has to fight a different fight, if he comes out boxing, I think Tank can definitely beat Lamont Roach. But I think for both those guys, it's better if they don't fight each other in the immediate rematch. For both.
Hey, a real quick analogy. That's like, all right, y'all just won the Super Bowl, Philly. It's like, all right, let's get up on Philly.
I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm gonna let y'all have that.
Yeah,
the Philly one. Go ahead.
Right. So it's like, well, let's get up on.
I'm from Texas,
Philly.
though. I'm from.
Okay. Let's get up on
Houston.
Philly.
All right. I'm from Fort Hood.
Yeah, I used to stay in Killeen.
I
used to stay in
Killeen.
Killeen.
My mom live there right now.
Killeen.
That's where mom live at right now.
Killeen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know about Killeen. I used to get money in Killeen.
Mm-hmm.
Killeen like a little small island.
That's why we moved back. It's like that.
Yeah, ain't shit down there, but motherfucking grass.
Yeah, we used to go to 6th Street or whatever. But my point, like, so basically, like Saquon Barkley, the best running back in the league. But if you get up on Philly 14-0, they ain't running the ball as much. So what you're saying is touch them up a little bit, get the lead, then go for the KO. Yeah,
because now he got to walk to you. Now he coming to you. You ain't got to stalk him no more. He coming to you, and he coming to you, pressuring you. If you try to pressure Tank and you throwing shots at him, trying to be busy, trying to get back into a fight, you got a high punch output. He gonna
Ryan
kill
Garcia.
You. He gonna kill you. He gonna kill you. Do that. So he needs to get up on points early. However, he does that, and then I don't think anybody beats him doing that.
So how does Roach win the next fight? Going if you was training Roach, like if they do run it back,
you fight somebody else. That's
okay.
Yo.
Somebody else.
I'm gonna give y'all some insight. You can call this breaking news or whatever. Don't be surprised if it's Ryan Garcia next.
Versus Roach?
No.
Or versus Tank?
Yes.
That's the shit I'm talking about right there. I don't want to see that fight no more. Ryan can kiss ass. He can do whatever he do somewhere else. I do not fuck with Ryan Garcia. Excuse my English. Excuse my English.
Yo, and where I got that from is where I got that from. They usually don't miss. But I think that will be a severe miscalculation from Premier Boxing Champions because the people want Roach.
Yeah. And what weight? 147? Like, what are you gonna fight Ryan Garcia?
I don't know.
I think that's a bad fight.
I was told that it was that Roach was supposed to be a tune-up, and that Ryan Garcia was already signed.
Okay, but for the people who want to who root for Roach, right? Just think about Roach. I'm talking about just longevity and bread. Like, if Roach comes out after this fight, right? And
just the promoter or the fan.
I'm just saying, if he comes out and fights Tank again, and those who are Tank fans are right? Let's just say they're right, and Tank knock him out in the first or second round early, like it was nothing. What happens to Roach's career from there?
You saying get some more paydays, then go back to
get your
the promoter. Yeah,
go get your money, young blood. Go get your money. Go fight these other guys, because even if you lose to these other guys, you still got the asterisk with Tank. They still gonna fuck with you. Even if you lost to Shakur, who ain't gonna knock you out probably. You know what I'm saying? You still got the asterisk against Tank. You just need to fight guys. I will fight Haney and Roach before I go back and fight Tank. If he fight Tank and lose, it's bad for him. If Tank fight Roach again and lose, not even like this again, it's bad for both of them. It's bad.
I would go after. Remember, he's a champion at 130 pounds, D. Right? So right now you got the juice, right? The first man, bring Oshaki Falls to the DC. Right now you got the juice. Right now your popularity is at its highest.
Take that and make some money with it.
Exactly.
Don't get
Go
a
to a
$10 million
situation
payday to fight
now
Tank
where you
again
the
and get
A
his
side.
shit done.
People will be like, oh well, he headlined with Tank, and that's the only reason why he got pay-per-view buys. Guess what? Don't even fucking matter because I got pay-per-view buys and O'Shaquie Foster don't. So let's do this unification in my city. And we all know that's a fight that we all would favor him to win. I'm sorry, Texas guys, but I favor him to win against O'Shaquie, but that makes the most sense.
In my opinion, I agree with you. Even if he could stay up.
I ain't mad at
again.
I ain't mad at that assessment over O'Shaquie because O'Shaquie ain't been fighting like he want to win lately anyway. And he Houston, he from Orange down the street, but he live out here and train out here. And I definitely respect him. But when he was getting his get back, that was a robbery. He got robbed the first fight, and they robbed him in the second fight. And O'Shaquie got the robbery in the second fight against
I actually agree with that. They should be 1-1, but
you know
in
what I'm saying?
reverse.
Like the first, yeah. I think O'Shaquie got robbed in the first fight, and then damn, who was that he fought?
Robson Consecio.
Consecio got robbed. He got robbed in the second fight. So they kind of like, it's one of them moments where the ball don't lie. You feel me? Like
he moved up to where the money is at for a reason. You moved up to 135. Stay where the money at. O'Shaquie, no. Fight Shakur or Haney. Now, like, listen, Shakur and Haney want to fight Tank.
But he's not gonna fight. But he's not gonna
fight at a 144-pound catchweight next to him.
Yeah. Dev is too big. But I'm just saying, you fight guys that want to fight Tank. That's where the money is at because they want to compare and contrast. So fight Shakur, get you some money. Fight guys that's going to make you some money.
Okay.
I wouldn't go back down to 130 because the money is at 35, 40. Stay up there. And he was a big 35. He was bigger than Tank, so he could fight 42 for all that. Like, I wouldn't go back down though. I would stay right where I'm at, right where the money at. I'll stay where I'm at.
Hey, Dave, next time if we go to like a press conference or something like that, and you see Tank in person, you're gonna be like, ain't no way in hell this little motherfucker knocking these niggas out like he is. I would say from a money standpoint, if you want to throw a fight in DC, a hometown job, you and Keyshawn would do numbers, being that
would be a fight.
Norfolk
that's another fight
is not that far.
And even if you fight Keyshawn,
how far is that? How far is Norfolk from DC?
It's the DMV, so it don't even matter because it's the DMV.
They're gonna bring them out anyway.
It's the
Newport News. All them they coming out.
Hey, Bang, you think he got Tank number though? Roach, you think he got his number?
I think he got that number. If it takes
maybe it's just the way that he wasn't worried about what Tank was finna throw at him. But that was the biggest key in his timing. Right. When you know what I mean? Like we don't know how Tank feels about somebody that ain't scared of him. Where does his confidence go? You feel me?
Tank, do Roach got another element to his game? We don't know.
Did Roach get that money? Did Roach get that money in the fans and the silk?
And start snacking and start lacking.
We know Tank got a different. He got a bunch of different styles. We've seen Tank fight different ways. Tank can definitely switch his style up. We know that. And I don't care who. I don't give a fuck if Tank lose. To be honest with you, I don't care. But I'm just saying I've seen Tank fight a different fight, and I think he can switch his game up. I don't know what Roach can do as far as his versatility. I just like how he approached this particular style that Tank came out with. But Tank is not going to come out fighting like this again against Roach because he already can clearly see it wasn't working. So why would he walk out here with the same game plan? Tank not one-dimensional. So I don't think you see this version of Tank again against Roach because he understands, like, I don't need to knock him out. Just get up on points and let the knockout come to you. That's how I would tell him to fight, and I think that's how he would approach it.
He's going for that knockout the first fight. He was like,
he was trying. He thought Roach was. He thought he was food. He was trying to eat. He went after him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Roach credit. Roach didn't even let his hands go. To be honest, he just kind of waited on Tank, pieced up Tank. He didn't throw his overhand. He stayed real compact. But I got one for YSM, man. Who you got in a unification with Gary Antoine and Hitchison?
Whoo, Africa.
That's a squabble right there.
Hey, y'all think Africa gonna be able to scrap with Gary Antoine?
I watched the spar right here. Who he spar? Duke.
All right, so
Duke.
This
you think he's strong enough?
He nasty,
Yo,
man. He nasty.
so wait, that's a loaded conversation, right? And
Yeah, we'll be here for hours.
I want to preface it by saying I know both guys. Okay,
Yeah, there you do.
Africa has never beat, to my knowledge, Africa has never beaten Gary in the amateurs. So that could have a negative or positive effect, being that, you know, now I have more fuel, or I could have a mental block to where as though like, yo, I can't beat this dude. I think that would add more fuel to Africa. I'm not sure, because could I see Africa outboxing Antoine and keeping him at the end of his punches for 12 rounds? Yes, but could I also see
Gonna be tough.
Antoine closing the distance and letting his hands go and being more active? Yeah. So right now, at this point, I have no fucking idea, but sign me up for it.
Yeah, I
His
want
version of Gary
Hey,
Antoine
when you
Russell.
say, look, when you say Africa never beat them in the amateurs, are you saying that they fought in the amateurs?
Yeah, they fought a lot.
Oh, okay. I can dig it.
Put it,
Look,
I just
put it
look.
don't
like
think. I
this.
don't think. I just don't think. I just don't think Africa is. Thank you, sugar. Thank you, baby. No. Don't get me wrong. That boy's a hell of a boxer. He's super slick, but I don't think he's. Man, I think you
Yo,
got to be. I don't think he. I don't think he tough enough. Like
Oh,
as far as
oh,
like. Now listen. What I'm saying. Listen. What I'm
oh.
saying. Not saying that
But
he'll fold and nothing like that. All I'm
oh
saying
yeah.
is
Oh,
I don't know if Africa can handle all that pressure. Can he handle that type of
hey,
pressure from a Gary Antoine
we
that's gonna
watch.
be
hey,
bigger?
bang,
I don't know
bang.
about
This
Gary
this
Antoine
is for
pressure,
you.
but we watched him spar. I watched him spar personally, and at One Punch when he was down here, he sparred. I ain't gonna say who he sparred, but the guys they put him up against, you know what I mean. He was calm in the pocket, and he was tearing them up from the back foot with body shots from the back foot. That's like hard to do, moving
Yeah.
backwards, catch a guy. He was knocking guys out with body shots, like they wanted, and these ain't slouches, you know what I mean. So it's like. And I didn't know who he was. I asked Mill, "Who the fuck is that?" I didn't know who he was. He's like, "That's Africa." Who the fuck is Africa? But this, I was like, this boy right here got it. So I only like watching boxing when I see guys that really have that it factor, and he
Yeah.
got that. I ain't saying Gary Anton Russell don't, but don't get confused by this fight against Rayo. Styles do make fights, and he was fighting a southpaw that don't know how to box southpaws. So he looked great doing it. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean he's gonna come out against guys who have a different style and do the same thing. There's just a good the planets aligned perfectly that day, and he was fighting a guy who just don't know what the hell to do against a southpaw that got double and
Yeah.
triple jabs and
Wh-
good footwork and
This
pressure.
is this
You
is
know what
for
I mean?
bang. The little group. It was Gary Antoine, Boots, Main Ortiz, Africa, Supernova. That was that was the group in the nationals that kept fighting each other. Like those were the guys that was towards the end. So to my knowledge, Boots got a victory over everybody, and I think Gary Antoine got a victory over everybody in that group.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
Supernova. I thought
including
Supernova
Mark Dawson too.
was like
Mark
Hispanic or
Dawson was
something.
in
I
that
thought he was
group
from
too.
like. But I thought okay, so Supernova was. I thought Supernova was like foreign or something. You talking about the one that be bleaching his hair, right?
Yeah, just because you Dominican and
No, I'm
but you
thinking
lived
he
in
came from. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking he's from over there somewhere. Like
Oh, yeah.
like he just came to
no,
America, or he
hear me
still
out.
live over there.
He's a Dominican that lived in PR, right? So he's Dominican descent, but he lived in PR. So that means you can come through the United States and live. And I know he was living there for
Okay.
a
I
little bit.
still think
But yeah,
Africa would do well though. You know what I mean?
those
Okay.
dudes, those dudes fought. Yeah, and to my knowledge, Boots and Gary Antoine got a victory over everybody. I don't think Africa ever beat Boots or Gary Antoine.
Mm.
Okay. Hey,
Uh,
look, I got to
He
get
met.
back to it, man. Let my phone charge, man. We love the love. Hey, man, I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't worry. It's Fighting Words with Bang on YouTube and every other
I'm
platform.
definitely checking
Y'all
it out,
Subscribe.
holler at me,
man.
man.
Bang, God bless you, brother.
Hey, y'all too, man. For real.
Yep.
Yep, have
Hey,
fun with it.
Yeah.
why some? I got a question real quick. With the Better B and Bivol, I had Better B winning the first fight. Obviously, Bivol won the second fight. What's up with the trilogy? Is it do Bivol got his number or like Give me a breakdown.
That's if we get it. Benavidez enters the chat.
Okay. I don't think Benavidez could beat Bivol. I don't think
he can't beat neither one of them, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I think he has a better chance against Bivol than he has against Better Beef. But I'm not sure if we get the trilogy because I think they're going through with the Bivol mandatory. So yeah.
I don't like Benavidez at light heavyweight at all. So I don't want to see him fight none of them. You know, I think he should rule his kingdom, which is 60 to 68. I don't think he should go up there. Even though
he's too big for 60 though.
68, stay there. Because that 7 pounds really it shows when he gets in there with those light heavyweights. He
got that pop.
Yeah, his last 2 fights, he went from being a monster to just a good pressure guy.
Good fighter.
He's a good pressure guy. But if he was fighting at 75 his entire career, we wouldn't be talking about it. Not right now. Not the way he looks.
That's why that Bud and Canelo fight is like, man, no, you got to grow in that weight division.
Oh no, I'm glad you brought that. We need to do a new show, another show on that, because I got a lot to say about that. Because I'm on record on your channel talking about
no. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing because it's about to be a dry month in boxing, and that's something that we could always hang our hat on.
Watching the film, and it's a lot going on, man. So I was like, I don't know about that no more. But I'm gonna let it cook later. I'm gonna let it simmer. You know what I mean? But
hey, man,
I mean, and I picked. You already know I'm picking Canelo, but watching the film, I'll show y'all what fights to watch, and it'll make you question your opinion. I guarantee it.
Yo, I want to take this last 5 minutes because we about to pack it in. We're gonna send a shout out to Jared Hurd.
Oh yeah.
Jared Hurd retired.
Jared Hurd started my career, man. Shout out to Jared Hurd, man.
Did his thing.
Shout out to Jared Hurd.
Man, what y'all think happened with Hurd? Because he got some good wins on his resume. Like just life got to him. Like y'all be doing this shit.
Yeah. He's like he's the black, not disrespectfully. He's a black Antonio Margarito. He's a wall that's coming at you, not very defensive. He's coming at you. He's a weight bully. He's super big. You can't hurt him. He's gonna walk through your shots. When you see guys like the Charlos do, they're big guys that can get small. Jared Hurd's a big guy. His frame bigger than me. I'm 5'9", 5'10", 240, but he fights at 154, 160, or he was anyway. But I guarantee you, his frame, like he can carry more weight than me. He's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? But he just has the ability to shrink down and get small, like a Margarito, like who else? Boots even get small, or you know what I mean. A lot of guys can shrink down. But he's a guy who shrinks down. When I watch guys like the Charlos who can shrink down to a smaller weight but walk through shots like that are clean shots, they seem like they got a crazy chin because of it. It's because they're so much bigger than the guys that they're fighting. And Jared Hurd, bully. Yeah, Jared Hurd was one of those guys where he wasn't very defensively sound, but he can walk through your shots and he can hit you with shots that
a Terminator. That's what I call him. A Terminator.
He's a wall. But eventually walls break down, and when they get figured out, they break down. Like when Margarito got figured out, you know what I mean? The amount of punishment that a wall who doesn't have defense is going to take in a good fight. You ain't gonna have many of those. You ain't gonna be able to take many of those because you're gonna take a lot. He took a lot of damage in that J-Rock fight. Took a lot of damage. When you walking forward against a guy that's around your size or a guy that can really bang with you, and you fight that way, you know it take a lot out you. When Margarito fought Pacquiao, when he fought Cotto, those fights took a lot out of him. You know what I mean? He's a wall that can punch, and that's what Jared Hurd was. He's a wall, and not disrespect. I don't mean that in no disrespect.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, yeah. I got 2 questions for y'all, one for Wise and one for Darius. Darius, as a promoter, do you think Canelo wants to get Benavidez comfortable at 175 to be like, okay, we could fight at 168 and get him on the weight cut? Do you think it's that, or you think he just don't want nothing to do with him?
I think Canelo just avoiding him, rightfully so, because of business. Like, I'm going to fight you eventually, but let me make all this money fighting guys that I know I'm going.
What you just said earlier about
first, and then I'll clean you up later. Like Floyd Mayweather Pacquiao. I don't fight you. Like even if Floyd Mayweather Pacquiao made $100 million 5 years sooner than they fought, right? But Mayweather's brand or Pacquiao's brand got damaged from that fight. They still lose money in the aftermath. I look at Canelo like, yo, he has a brand where he knows I can clean up as much as I want elsewhere. I'm still gonna make 30, 40 mil or more not fighting you. So I'm gonna fight everybody else that's easy work, that's easy money to me, that I can make a fight with. And then when I've cleared all that out, I'm gonna fight you. I don't think he's scared of him. I think it's just
I don't think that either.
That's just a smart business play. He had a position where he can call his own shots, but he's earned the right to call his own shots, and that's what he's doing. I don't blame him for that.
That's what all great fighters do. When they the A side, they gonna play the A side. And I think I think
that's smart.
I love channels like this because y'all speak to the casuals. Boxing is a business first and foremost. So hey, that business ain't right, it ain't gonna happen. So he ducking that duck word. I can't fucking stand it. Duck.
Sometimes
like,
a good duck is smart. Like I say that's smart sometimes. Like certain guys you should just stay away from based off your style or based off the way they fight until you have to get in there with them. You should stay away from certain guys, man. I think if people had less pride, less ego, you know, their careers would be a little different. Roy Jones is one of those guys. Like he just, you know what I mean? His ego got in the way of him. You know what I mean? That's what beat him. You know, his ego beat him. I want to jump up to heavyweight, then jump down, and I can beat you because I'm that good. He was that good. He was trying to, he was looking, he like Ryu from Street Fighter. I'm looking for the motherfucker that could fuck me up. He was looking for the ass whooping. You know what I'm saying?
My favorite fighter. So
to beat my ass. You know what I mean?
Is that Terrence Crawford?
We don't know.
Is he looking for that?
Hey, he gonna get his ass beat. I think
who?
Canelo gonna beat the shit out of Crawford.
Yo, D, no. We at
come on, watch baby.
We had 2 hours. We had 2 hours. We're gonna pack it in.
Because I answer this question a week ago. I don't agree with you no more. But I got you.
What's J-Rock's future? I don't know. I know Jared Hurd retired. I don't think J-Rock said that before the fight. But we gotta see. We gotta see exactly what he does. But yeah. Thank y'all for hopping on the panel. Thanks for everybody in the chat. We appreciate you. D, thanks for stopping by, man.
Man, we gotta do this every week. And I'm with it.
Look forward to more great fights. It was a great weekend of boxing. The week before that was a great weekend of boxing. So
I appreciate that too.
Appreciate you, YSL, man. Get ready to watch this content tomorrow morning, man. I know you're gonna come with some more interviews.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I got shit coming. I got
I got up too. You get like you get a lot of shit out. We'll talk about it, but you should.
And another thing too, 5 black men coming together and just talk about boxing, not no gangster shit, none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying, is much needed. So I really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, likewise, man.
That boxing,
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, that boxing is like a cult sport. That ain't no shit that motherfucker just walking down the street know about. So you really got to go to your YouTube and talk to the experts like y'all and get schooled on some shit. So I really appreciate that.
Likewise.
Yeah. Appreciate you. All right. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night.
You too,
all right, y'all. We out, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate subscribe on the way out, fellas.
For sure. Subscribe.
Yup, hit that like button on the way out too, man. Make sure y'all fuck with him. That's my man right there.